Heyo! Welcome everybody to a new show. That's right. I'm Omnidog, joined by Bookcam, always a frequent guest. Below Bookcam is Crushing Crisis. How are you?
I am well today. It's a beautiful sunny day in wintry New Zealand, and I get to hang out with my friends. I didn't have to do a poll. I didn't have to make a list. I'm just here to hang out with my friends.
Yay!
And also talk about FOMO.
And we have lack of expertise. Freddie, he's part of this new show. What up, buddy?
Yo, what's up?
And every second Tuesday, we're going to try and have Peter and Freddie on to just hang out with me and talk comics. Probably next time I'll be in a different setup, but this time I'm facing my X books, as this is the X-Men FOMO show where Freddie and Peter's been looking a little too forward to this for the past 3 months. I'm a little nervous, but I got to get a pen and paper. But this is where we go to check out, after Peter and Freddie helped organize all of it, what am I missing? And then once we're done with that, we'll just see where the chat takes us, see where we want to talk, see what we're up to, things like this, blah, 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 whatever. As you can see, I've been spending a lot of time thinking about it. One thing, though, go to Organic Price Books and use the code Omnidog. You get $2 off your order. 5% off shipping 4 more books together. Omnidog, sit. Right on, man. Okay. Peter M is a gem and must be protected at all costs.
Yeah.
What? Wait, more crisis?
Like Steven Universe? Can we talk about fusions?
First time I received an ad on Omnidog's Vault. Just as moving on up.
Oh.
That's a good thing that you want. Okay. Wait, is Samantha in here? Oh, here's Samantha. Yeah, she has the first leg of her flight, she told us last night, is 17 hours. That doesn't even get her where she's going.
That's some like US to New Zealand stuff. Where are you going to and from?
Well, I know, but I'll let her answer.
Yeah, I don't want to dox Samantha's exact location here.
Give us her hotel room, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, take a zip code and GPS coordinates, please.
Super Laugh Hard's here. Super Laugh Hard. I know Tony, because this is a book I want to talk about with Peter and Freddie later. Super Laugh Hard, did you also recommend this book to me? Because I know Tony from Sweden did. And I'm going to highlight this after the X-Men-a-thon that we do when I talk about stuff that I'd like to Peter to look into. Jason Webster's here. Welcome. Mr. Awesome, Sazmurf, of course, master producer, James Abel.
James, who informed me that I was now booked for an Omnidog show before I didn't have the date. James sent me a clip of you talking about how I was going to be on the show. I said, okay, well, I guess it's official then.
He did that to me for the DC Omnibus voting poll. I said, I'm on that show? And he said, yeah, it's this date and time. I'm like, oh.
I'm so happy you were on that one. Your color commentary as the books come up, because it's, like there's only so much of a surprise to me because I'm in the back wrangling the data. So you really need somebody to be the reaction person, because Omar and I kind of know what's going to happen already. And you're the perfect reaction person on those. I love it.
Well, I don't think anything tops my reaction to your prank of Alf being #1 on the Marvel. That I genuinely believe that, because I thought all those maniacs out there actually had voted that thing #1 just to mess with everybody. So,
well, before you were on the DC poll, I was planning on having Sugar and Spike be the fake #1. But then once you were going to be in the show, I'm like, I will shatter Jess's heart into a million pieces if Sugar and Spike is the fake out. So I had to pull the Sugar and Spike and put in my data slide. I had to take Hickman and do some data pages.
Aria, always the first to be here. Thank you, Aria. And not my nephew, but named like my nephew, Ryan Bragg. Good to see you. Oh, don't forget Chris Brogan. Nice.
Chris.
Sadler says, kind of feel like Peter could start his own show, helping comic fans organize their collections.
A Patreon, get some money out of that.
I mean, you know what though? It is such a relief to just go on and be with other people. I mean, you know this because you do audio video production. The pressure when it's like you doing the actual thing and you're the captain is so different than when you get to go on and be the panelist or the helper or the guest or the second assistant. And I mean, I used to have a YouTube show every single day. And that really broke my brain. I did that for several periods. I did it in 2018. I did it in 2020, and it's hard stuff. Yeah.
Larry's here, who just hipped me to
Larry.
And here is everybody's thing. I didn't put Freddie's Twitter down below, but I did put your IG. And Peter M's information is in the description box. Jesse, say what here? Good to see you. It's in my cart right now. The show started before I could order it. I hope it doesn't disappear because I noticed that those DMs, like the DM of Thor, went out immediately. And like within less than a minute, people had it in their carts right away and it got yanked out. And then Max from CGN posted something really helpful on the Omnibus Collectors Facebook group that DM covers are only being printed to the number pre-ordered. There's no.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So they are on. If you go to In Stock Trades, I don't know what OPB is right now as far as the DM of Thor. But if you want those DMs, I think the safest thing to do from now on is pre-order them from wherever you can pre-order. DCBS, is Tales of Wonder still a company?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Where I pre-order.
Okay, pre-ordered Tales of Wonder, cheap graphic novels. Those are 3 quality places to pre-order. Oh, and organic price books. Okay, so what was I saying? Yeah, pre-order all the DMs that you want because those things are going to be, as they said in the old days, scarce as hen's teeth. I have no idea what that means, but that's something they said. NFL Dude says, I guarantee Jess is missing at least 3 out-of-print books that go for $125 in the aftermarket. Okay, wait, we're taking bets. Let me get my pad of paper.
I mean, that could be any 3 X-Men books.
Yeah.
It could be.
Wait,
what are you doing?
Well, I
put some light on my books.
The mic wasn't working, so I disconnected it, but I found different cable, so you can watch.
The amount of fun Freddie and I would have just doing audio nerd stuff if we were ever in the same place at the same time. My entire garage is X-Men back issues and live sound equipment. That's my entire garage.
That's so cool. Super Laughheart didn't, but did order it today after watching the Omnibus show. Okay, good. Did you also order Sherlock Holmes, Larry? That sounds like a book that you dig. My buddy Omnibo from Down Under. Good to see you. Booster Green. I read my first Marvel book this week.
Yeah.
Hot Box. And Hobbs says,
you jumped into the deep end of the pool.
That's a hell of a first book choice. Yes, it was. Nick Barucci did say on June 1st he's been trying to get the license for the Alf comics. Well, God be with him. Whatever. Doc Elevator, I love the shows with a book cam. I subbed to Chris's Patreon that I found. Wait, I found it, and he had it at the right price, free. Oh, okay, good.
Well, I mean, you can. I struggle with that, and that's an interesting thing. Every Patreon now you can free subscribe, but that just means you get the posts that are not locked for a $1 tier. But the thing I always struggle with, this is such inside baseball, but we're just hanging out.
All right.
It's like every time you make a post on Patreon, every Patreon gets it. So it's not like Twitter or a blog where like, oh, a couple piled up. Like, I just think about being in people's email boxes over and over. Because you know me, I could be posting about comics like every single day, but that gets obnoxious because Patreon also is a newsletter. And so I have all these things I want to talk to the free subscribers about, but I'm like, oh, every time I do that, everybody's going to get an email and they're going to be like, crisis needs to shut up. Why am I subscribed to this thing? So it's like, I kind of feel like it's a weird, it's like a weird tower. It's like a Rapunzel thing. Like, I don't know, like I could climb my hair down. I don't know how many messages to send out. I just am never sure. I live in fear of annoying people. Like, I don't understand the current generation of like, they sent you too many texts in a row or too many DMs. I'm like, messages are cool. Like, talk to me more. But I know that's a me thing.
No, it's not just a you thing. But you know, there's no such thing as too much Peter. It's like Margot Robbie saying like, "Oh, people are gonna complain if they see my face." No, Peter, we want to hear from you.
I just get compared to Margot Robbie.
You did.
That's gotta be one of the best.
High praise, in my opinion. People have periodically asked me to put up a Patreon, like maybe put up a paywall, like I could donate the money or something, but to a good charity like Comic Books for Kids. But I have trouble posting on IG, and I have trouble making YouTube videos. I don't think I could create content, like maybe you in Very Fine Condition could. I don't have that much interesting to say, so I don't think it would make me I would be uncomfortable with Patreon.
Well, I think just like anything, YouTube, blog, Instagram, it's like you got to find the thing that is authentically you and is like fun for you. And that's why I have trouble with Instagram. I'm not a pictures person. I don't take pictures. I don't carry a phone around with me a lot of the time. And so people are always like, why don't you do Instagram? I'm like, it would just be boring. I would have nothing to say. But for you to, do all those videos, you could just have an after show on Patreon. You could just, after each live video, you could go on Patreon and talk, 20 minutes and have like an after show and, have that be, but only do it if it's fun. I mean,
Okay, that's interesting.
What would I do on Instagram? I could just take pictures of my hair every day. I don't know. I don't know if there would be content.
You would totally get people I would subscribe to that Instagram.
Yeah, you know what I do? I put a picture of a book a day that I read, and I'm gonna, it's not 100% because I'm usually like 100 or 150 books ahead. So,
that's awesome.
So sometimes, I'll put a month's post that I was like, oh, this is what I read in May. Maybe I read one of them in May. The other ones, could have read last year because I'm really ahead.
So you're saying your IG's full of false information?
Well,
liar.
I'm a liar, but you know what? It's full of things I read. But I'm also really late on it. Like this month, I posted it like 11 days after May ended. So, yeah.
Well, I like to embrace my comic book roots, especially my 90s comic book roots. And sometimes the thing goes out 2 months after it was supposed to go out. And that's just, we're no better or worse than Todd McFarlane or Jim Lee at that point. And I think that's fine.
My buddy from Canada, True Graphic. Hello, how are you? Odevoida loves Crushing Crisis' channel. Odevoida.
Just your true global superstar. Have we represented every continent yet? I think once Samantha touches down in her destination, you will have somebody in 6 of the 7 continents here.
Ooh, that's a good thing. Yeah, Samantha will represent me all over the world.
Now, if she could stream it from the airplane. I don't know if we've had anybody in the comments section from air.
Oh my gosh.
Levels of that
Samantha has my email address. If you want to stream part of your flight, I will make a special show for you so you can show us what you're eating, what you're reading, where you are. That would be funny. This is a relevant question. Jess, by the way, how's the Krakoa readathon? I just posted on IG where I am up to. And
oh, you're deep. You're at the end of Hickman.
Yeah, I'm ready to start the Destiny era. I posted on IG that And Peter was interested in talking about it tonight. I'm sure Freddie is too.
Yeah. Did you start reading the Destiny books I told you, or did you just put it off?
I didn't put it off. I'm taking a break to read
for now. I mean, I don't mean it forever.
I'm going to read JLD Rebirth, and that's a honker, so I just need to take a break. But I did see your Krakoa spreadsheet that you sent me. I don't know that I can. It takes me. You have all of Destiny of X through here, and I also have whatever that editor's name is that put all the anthologies together.
Yeah.
He put out that post of how he would have mapped Destiny of X. So I'll follow that, and I'll follow yours. And after I read, I just need to read. I'm really excited to read JLD Rebirth. So
It's so good. It's like one giant event. I so often felt as I was reading it like, wow, this feels so big. I can't believe that DC didn't make Tinian do a line-wide crossover with this. And I sometimes don't love books like that because I feel like when you make your book too big and try to like everybody in the world fell asleep, it's like, okay, well, when did that happen for everybody else? When did that happen for Harley Quinn? You know, but GLT just felt like the perfect size of thing. And it just because I'm going to say his name incorrectly, but I have to find the artist's name. His art is just so beautiful, and Tinian's story is so big that every issue of Justice League Dark just felt like it was a 30-issue DC Comics event, and I think that was so cool.
Oh, good. That's what I thought too. Oh, Larry was talking about Web of Horror. Okay, that's cool. Pre-ordered my DM and Thor DM, and it's on its way. Ooh, Sato, good job. Rodimus.
The artist is Alvaro Martinez Bueno. Fantastic artist.
Okay, on JLD Rebirth.
Yeah, also the artist on Nice House on the Lake, also with James too.
Oh, I dug that book and that art.
Yeah. Oh, well, same art. I think he's like, he to me is the Laras of DC. DC has other people who I really, really like, but he and Pepe Larraz, like, to me, kind of have like a similar vibe all of their own. The way they do like faces and bodies that makes me think of them as being in the same league as each other.
And well, once I'll say what I like about one thing. One thing I love about the Krakoa era, and I know Peter's a big fan of lettering, and the lettering in the Krakoa era is so special in these trades. I just really dig the lettering. I'll show it more, but it seems like it's all the same lettering style, and it looks really special to me. And this is the first time I think, although it may have been in Bendis's Uncanny and All New that they did that type of lettering, and I really dug it. So
just because it's lowercase, or something else about it as well?
It's just different. Let me see if I can get I mean, it's all like this.
Try not to put my nostrils right in the screen. Oh yeah, it's lowercase, but also it's a nice round font. It's not it's not as like thick strokes or like italic looking, and I find that so readable. You know, they say that fonts like Comic Sans, everybody loves to make fun of when you get an email and somebody has their signature and Comic Sans, but actually Comic Sans supposedly is a very dyslexia friendly font because the letters are so differentiated and rounded from each other that if you're having trouble reading letters sequentially in order, you still can kind of parse out the difference between them. And I often have that with comic fonts when they're too straight up and down and they're like too italic and slightly slanted. To me, all the letters start to look the same. And one of the things I really liked about the Krakoa era, and I think it's so interesting, it's one of the things you immediately commented on, is it was just very readable. It was comfortable to read. And I think that makes a huge difference in binging comics. The difference between like a comfortable to read comic and a comic where the lettering is kind of challenging, it makes a big difference when you're trying to binge through like 10 or 20 issues of something.
Yeah, and I feel like it's the X-Men's font or something. Because it seems to be throughout the books, and I just really dig that they have their own lettering. I just really appreciate it. It's not something I really paid attention to before, but I'm paying more attention to now.
Yeah, like I started reading all of, like, I went crazy waiting for you to catch up. Just that I went back to read from 2003 with Morrison's New X-Men, and the first thing I noticed was the lettering was off in a lot of these things.
The
And
new
then
X-Men?
yeah, like, I read from 2003 all the way to 2009 of X-Men. Like,
Oh, okay.
I had to pause. That was 6 years. But and the goal is to get to like 2011, which is when I started reading. Uh, that was Schism. Um, but yeah, then I started reading a lot of modern comics to catch up on stuff. And the first thing I asked myself was, when the hell did lettering get so small? Like, all the fonts are so tiny now. And not all of them are as nice as the Krakoa ones that you can read like easily. A lot of them are, I'm like squinting, like, what's going on?
Oh,
That's
Rodimus.
also just called getting older. The
Well,
fonts do get smaller, I've noticed.
they are getting smaller.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rodimus.
Well, and then they
Christ.
do these DC Compact comics. I'm like, how are you gonna read Watchmen? I think I'm not complaining about the Compact Comics
Yeah.
presentation. I think for $10 to get 400 pages of comics, I think the size factor is great. But then I think about these eyes trying to read Watchmen at this size, and I don't think I could physically do it. I think it's
No,
for
no.
the young folks.
No, but think about this. Like, they're doing like Strange Academy and Reptile and a bunch of other young reader friendly comics. Instead of printing them like the single issues normally, they're going digest size,
Yeah,
and
they're going
immediately
digest.
they're hard to read because of the lettering.
Yeah.
What do you
Strange,
think of us old dogs here on the show?
well, Strange Academy, you're all welcome for the omnibus that's coming, because I bought those dopey digest sized books just 'cause I couldn't wait to read them, which I haven't
Yeah.
done yet. But
I mean, I doubled it. I got the paperbacks, the complete collections, and I sent the digest size to my sister.
You got to pick up Steve Orlando's All of the Scarlet Witch in paperback so we can get an omnibus of that. I think it's going to be the perfect size. The first series was 11 issues, then there was a 4-issue miniseries. Now there's another 4-issue miniseries. They put all the Contest of Chaos annuals in there. I think we're coming up on a modern Scarlet Witch omnibus.
I'm up for it. Yeah. Has Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, has that come out?
The trade hasn't come out yet. The last issue was just 2 weeks ago. So good. Possibly my favorite superhero series of this year so far.
I love Scarlet Witch. I got the second Scarlet Witch. Those are the two I have so far. Am I missing another trade?
No, that's it.
Okay.
No, she was kind of a background character in the Contest of Chaos annuals, which stemmed from her annual that's in the second trade, but they didn't brand that as Scarlet Witch, and she's kind of just like there. So I don't think you have to have it. I think if they did an omnibus, it would be nice to have all the backup stories, but I don't think you like have to get it to enjoy your Scarlet Witch read. Cat Cam. Freddie's giving us Cat Cam.
Yeah, Cat
Cam.
Where should go? Okay.
Just one Patreon idea would be a monthly. Oh, brother. And Attila says there's a bargain for that. What about Antarctica? Any penguins out there following Jess? I actually do have a very, I don't know. He may show up tonight. He's from Australia. Oh, shoot. I know his real name. Now I'm trying to think of what his YouTube handle is. But he lives on a little island where there's a colony of penguins, and his partner, I believe, is in charge of that facility or has something to do with that facility. So I do have some penguin followers. They're from Australia, though.
Wow. Look at you.
Wow.
Demographic.
His real name's Dean, and I can't think of his YouTube handle. He might be in here, though, tonight.
Right? Like, Omar can keep his awkward penguins. You have real penguins.
Yeah. Oh, she does have Wi-Fi on this plane.
Oh.
First ever comments from the air.
Welcome, Muhammad. Thank you for being here.
By the way, go back to Rodimus's comment from earlier.
Wepa?
Say that. Yeah. Say that again.
Wepa? Wepa saludos al gran Freddie.
Yeah, I have to say this because Sato is commenting like, yeah, my Puerto Rican flag, that's my union shirt.
Oh,
There you
right
go.
there.
Yeah,
Okay.
there we go.
Freddie was on a job today.
12 hours.
Ugh.
Your arm strength must, when you put pictures up, how did they recommend weight training for boom operators? Like, how do
Yeah,
you?
there's a bunch of exercises. And today I had to extend the boom fully 20 feet, and
Oh,
I was on some stairs. I did 5 takes of that. We did 11 takes. I got down after the second one. I was like, okay, I need a breather, and then I did 3 more.
I mean, I remember. I'm sure Jess remembers this from when your kids are really little and just like holding them for the day, and then you get that like crick in your neck and your shoulder. But like, think about at least they can like adjust and they're soft. You know, babies, they're pretty soft. They have a nice bounce to them. But think about holding that boom mic for longer than you hold a baby and having to like square your shoulders. That's crazy.
and the thing extends out and then is heavy down
Yeah,
at
so
the
you gotta have
end.
like
Yeah.
leverage on it. It's like
Yeah, 'cause I
Yeah.
have
even
I have a
fishermen
trans-
get to put their lines down and rest.
Yeah, because the transmitter's at the end of the microphone. Like, this is the exact same microphone we were using. So, at the end of here, we would have the transmitter. So that's a big plug.
Mm.
But yeah, no, it's okay with this director because he cuts a lot. He doesn't let it roll. Some people, the longest I've held it for was 50 minutes, but it wasn't full length.
That still sounds like a job for a young person.
I mean, I told you just there's 2 old guys doing this. One is 65, the other one's 69. And
Okay, first of all, older.
oh, I'm sorry, you caught me.
What the hell? Old. How dare
I'm
you?
sorry.
What are you doing on this show? Here's my friend Hondalorian. Maniac Matt and I are watching our homie Omnidog and guests right now from the Bay Area. Nice, my buddies. Like DC giving the Batman Who Laughs. Oh yeah, red font on black word bubbles. That was very bad choice. I remember that. Yeah.
I started a thread last week on Twitter to say what's an example of a comic that you would have loved, but the coloring or lettering prevented you from loving. Because I think it's great when people actually notice these things. And for me, I know coloring can like knock a comic out of my tops list if the coloring's not what pleases me. And literally half of the responses was Batman Who Laughs. People have strong feelings about the lettering in Batman Who Laughs.
I do
Red on
too.
black, I mean, it vibrates in an unpleasant way.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Now, I happen to be okay with Asgardian cursive or whatever it is in the modern Thor books, but I totally get why you might not be, Brent. But I do dig it when Jane Foster or son of Thor, Odin's son,
Odin's son, yeah.
when he uses it. Thank you, Uncanny Sweet 97. Nice. Yeah, the Thor dialogue font back in the day, that was part of the problem. Hither thee, thon, yon Mjolnir, to me, I say, as I smite thy Atticus Doom, or whatever it was.
Yeah, now he just squeezes in a verily once and again.
I liked the Joker. I know what you're talking about here. I like they had a special Joker font in New 52. But I felt like Tom King's run also had a special Joker font that I found extremely disturbing. So, pictures I've seen of the compact Watchmen has really bad gutter loss. Most of the panels in the grid are,
Ooh,
well,
that is unfortunate.
that is too bad.
Yeah, that's not a book that really you can stand to lose a lot of material to the gutter because so much of it is 9-panel grid that you're gonna like lose, the
Yeah.
you have to write half of every page.
Larry enjoying the Sixth Gun has a nice mixed font, case font also. It's very nice. I much prefer mixed case fonts. Cursive font with a little devil sign.
Well, sometimes those are fun, but reading a whole book that way.
This is for you, Freddie.
That's for me. Yeah, Boricua.
I have not gotten to Axe Judgment Day. I have been instructed by Peter M, as a matter of fact, to wait until I read Eternals, until I get Eternals. I'm waiting for the chunky trade to come out, and then I will be able to read Judgment Day. I'm actually looking forward to it because it sounds like a lot of people really enjoyed it.
It's my favorite Marvel event in a really long time. I didn't love the two Donny Cates events. The Central books were good.
Yeah.
Absolute Carnage and King
King
Black. But some of the tie-ins felt really inconsequential. I loved War of the Realms, but again, past the center part of it, I'm like, did this really need to exist? Judgment Day, because Gillen wrote half of it. If you do the math, he wrote like 51% of every page that's in Judgment Day. So, and then also a lot of it was also written by his really close collaborators in Ewing, Spurrier, and Dickens. So like the vast majority of Judgment Day is written by people who are kind of like in on it. And I think that that's pretty unique in a big event. So I love it. I unequivocally endorse it. I don't like the X-Force tie-in. The X-Force tie-in was dumb.
Yeah.
Those are really good writers you just named off too, like some of my favorite writers, and I know how much Freddie and I like Ewing.
Yeah, no, that's precisely why I loved Empire, because it's mostly a Ewing slot book.
Oh yeah, we're due to read that and review it.
Yeah.
Earth Geomancer with a super chat. Thank you, my friend. Just got off work and can't wait to watch this live, but I want to say I'm a huge Peter fan. I'll catch the replay. Go, Peter. 100. That's a lot of hundreds.
Wow.
Freddie with the Jack Trapezius. Oh, I never thought about that. I loved these Savage Shores, but there was a lot of cursive lettering going on in those caption boxes. You're right.
Yeah, I feel like with a book like that that's like meant to give you the veracity of reading letters or something, it's fine to just start it cursive. Like, give us a feel and then switch to something more readable. I will say, though, the cursive, I should be right behind me somewhere. The cursive in that book, I find to be relatively readable. Oh, it's down here behind some other stuff. Because I want to say that that's one of my favorite letterers. If I could figure out where on my shelf it is and pull it out. But I'm not laying eyes on it right now for some reason. Anyway, I was gonna credit the letterer because I think it actually stays pretty readable, but I cannot figure out where on my shelf it is right now.
Yeah, we're leisurely making our way to X-Men. if you know an Omnidog show, we don't get to the topic for at least an hour. So
yeah,
the first part is all warm up.
It's only been 30 minutes. Come on.
Yeah, this is nothing. I talked about ice cream.
I was promised I wouldn't have to bring an outline and there would be no hurry. Yeah, it's lettered by Aditya Bidikar, who's actually one of my favorite letterers, possibly one of my favorite. And I think that he kept a lot of the cursive stuff relatively readable. It's not my favorite either, but he doesn't like oppress you with it. And even in the letters, it's a nice dark font on a nice light background, so he's not trying to be like too tricksy, and the kerning's not that bad. So it's even a little bit more italic than it is cursive. Oh, but then there's the cursive on the pink. Yeah, I can't do that. I'll just skip it.
Oh, yeah.
I assume that's written in a secret code and it's meant for me to skip. But again, that's just one page. So I think he was pretty judicious, but I love him, and he's really fun to follow on social media. And I learned a couple of weeks ago that he's a Crush and Crisis fan. I was like, hey, wow, people who make actual comic books who use my website. Wild.
Nice.
Yeah, he responded when I IG'd Aquaman Andromeda and said how much I liked it. He responded to that, which was a feather in my cap. That he noticed me. And then when I go through these Trials of X, I will say somebody else that responded yesterday that I was very happy with. Gary Edmond, just have the X books been organized already? They are organized, but tonight we're going to go through what I am missing. It's the FOMO show, and they are licking their chops. They can't wait to tell me what I'm missing.
Yeah, just
should we start to talk about X-Men? I don't know.
If you like,
minutes enough to start teasing the actual topic of the show, or do we need to give it a little bit more time?
oh yeah, no, we're fine. I'm almost caught up on comments. I think we can go ahead and do whatever we want.
Yeah, we could give it time if you want, but I also just found before you sent me the PDF, Peter, I had already written some books, and I'm looking at it, and it's mostly Wolverine.
Oh, okay.
But you
Well,
might have some of these though.
well, everything I have. Well, I mean, I have Wolverine Omnis,
Yeah.
but everything trade paperback or hardcover or something is in this X-Men display as placed in its place by Peter last time and you.
And Freddie. Freddie really came through for us in the end. Once we got to that period where I truly do not care. That 2018 period.
You mean my favorite period? That's fine.
Yeah, Freddie really came to if he had not logged on to the stream, we would have been in trouble. I believe you will recall some of my answers that were it doesn't matter and who's going to read that anyway. So,
Yeah, sure, we could start. Let's see. You move this over here so I can see what's going on.
Panoramic view.
Yeah. So this is probably about as good as I can get it for the audience. But we have Wolverine Origin, Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix, all the way. We've got Extreme X-Men here, Nightcrawler, District X, Uncanny X-Men, New Age. This is the first shelf. It ends with Bizarre Love Triangle. Do you have in front of you? What your thoughts are on what I'm missing on that first shelf cube?
Well, I was thinking we can talk a little bit before that first shelf, because in another room you have some X-Men omnibuses, which is mostly how you have like I would say pre 97 or 98 X-Men. You almost exclusively have an omnibus. So
okay, that's in this room.
Yeah, as I was looking through that, first of all, are you missing Uncanny Volume 2?
I am.
Yeah, got to get on that. Or else you could buy the Phoenix Omnibus and get a lot of that content.
I have the Phoenix Omnibus.
Problem solved. Look at that. Crushed crisis.
The problem, but here's the thing. I just sold Age of Apocalypse today to some nice person who gave me $250.
Why? Why did you sell it?
For money.
He gave me $250 for it. What was I supposed to say? Oh no, keep your money. It'll get reprinted sometime in the future, and I'll read
that one will
for sure.
I mean, that's a landmark book. So I was like, that's coming up in the next year or so. So I can let go of that. It turns out upper management has informed me that I'm still in charge of my own health care. So I still sell stuff. She said, yeah, I didn't budget in the fact that you were going to have dental insurance and this insurance and that insurance. And I'm like, you didn't budget it in. I just happened to live with you. What the hell? So
maybe you really do need to start the Patreon, Jess.
Maybe so. Yeah, the charity's going to be me and my health.
Yeah, you can set the little Patreon earmarks will be each tooth that will get taken care of based on how many people pledge.
Okay, well,
like, hey, if you want a nice smile from Jess, we got to get pledge level at least to 8.
Let me move the stuff away from where I have it.
But I'll throw in while you're doing that. Here's my first true FOMO, and I flashed back to the first time we talked on video, which was my first appearance live on YouTube back in January or February of 2018. And you asked me what my favorite comic was, and I told you it is Alan Davis Excalibur, and I don't know if you have that.
He had it at one point, and then is that the
one? Oh, we didn't organize that. How was I to know?
It's new. I got it from CGN for half off 2 weeks ago.
But is that volume 1? You need volume 2 as well. Oh, hold on, wait. There you go. I couldn't even FOMO you. I tried. That comic in your hand is probably my favorite X-Men run of all time.
Really? Well, then that warrants my keeping the action figure set that I got.
wanted to get it, but it was after we moved here, and it's so expensive to get action figures here. I love that era.
Well, that's you know what. So, speaking of Samantha, she actually goes to Hong Kong to this store that's like 10 stories high, full of figures of all kinds, and she gets her action figures super cheap there. Now she does have to go to Hong Kong, but she also loves to travel. So, but that's
Guess
where
what?
she
For as expensive things are in New Zealand, it actually can pay to go to another country. Like if I ever needed to replace all of my jeans, like all of my denim, it would be cheaper to fly to Australia and buy all of those jeans and then fly back than it would be to order those jeans in New Zealand. There are some things.
Wow.
Some things in New Zealand are just so expensive, and I was just reading a really good article about it last night. That literally you can go outside the country, pay for your flight, buy that thing, and come back and probably be like price equivalent and have gotten a trip out of it.
Okay,
I gotta be friends with Samantha, man. She's like she
Yes.
should be my New Zealand buddy, but she's in Auckland.
Yeah, how far away is that from where you are in miles?
I did do the drive up to Auckland a few months ago. It's like kind of like Philly or DC up to Maine. It's like a solid 8.5 hour drive.
No,
So Philly to Maine, I guess probably.
maybe you could meet halfway, and she could give you all her info on Hong Kong.
You know what's halfway? Mount Doom. That's all there is in the middle.
Mount Doom.
Yes, the literal Mount Doom from Lord of the Rings. That's what if you drive on Highway 1 from Wellington to Auckland, there's you go through some little towns, then there's a vast expanse of nothingness, and then all you can see if it's a clear day is Mount Doom in 2 directions for like 4 hours.
So like Mordor is there?
Yes.
You have to drive through Mordor.
Yes. To get to Auckland, you have to drive through Mordor. Never a more accurate sentence has been said about New Zealand.
Do you want me to take the camera and put it over to the X-Men stuff over here? Because my Omnis are right over here.
Well, I didn't know you had all these secret new books, Jess. How are we gonna create FOMO if you keep buying things?
Well,
these are in sort of relative order, so I didn't really think they needed to be organized, but I can see how that would inform what I need in the trade. So let's see, the camera's there, but I could pick it up and show you. I mean, I could show you my whole Marvel collection right here. Let me do that.
yeah. Jess, was Excalibur the one that you lost and had to get again? Okay.
Yeah,
That's why you didn't see it last time, Peter.
Yeah, I didn't own it.
Well-
I think I sold it 2 years ago and forgot. So I don't know, because I had volume 2, and I'm like, if I have volume 2, what the hell? Why did I sell volume 1?
This is gonna be you 2 years from now with Age of Apocalypse. I own this. Where is it?
At least you took pictures this time. At least this time we can go back and say you did own it at one point, Omnidog.
And
So, Freddie, do
somebody-
you have any pre-1991, so pre-departure of Claremont or up to around that time? Because I definitely have some 90s FOMO for Jess. But do you have any pre-Claremont departure FOMO based on what we know Jess owns from X-Men?
No.
No? Not Wolverine
No.
Volume 1? That's not one of your Wolverine picks?
No. In fact, he should sell all 4 volumes that he owns.
I own Wolverine volume 1 through 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Buy volume 4 to sell it.
Okay, let me disconnect then, and I'll see.
Well, we're not past that shelf yet. I mean, we're still
Right.
pre that shelf.
Yeah.
What's that?
We're still talking about
I'm
this show.
sorry, you peeking into your own frame is just taking me out. It's so funny.
Well, I don't know what you want to see. Do you want to see the Omnis first?
I already know, Jess. I'm the one who put them in order. What does the audience want to see?
Oh,
They're just chilling. They don't care.
I think they're just having fun. Oh, I am way behind now. Summoners here.
Nice.
One does not simply drive through Mordor.
I mean, but also, Peter, think about it. She's a world traveler. She's going through 17 hours right now. You can't sacrifice 8 hours for Samantha. She would do
Well,
twice
it's
that
a
for
quick
you.
flight. Getting a flight to Auckland's like taking the bus. People just fly back and forth. I've flown there, done
Yeah.
meetings, and come back like on the same day before the sun has gone down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
show us
Jeff, the
the
chat is
Omni.
demanding Omnis. Can we get some
Okay.
Omnis on cam?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I'll do this. I will disconnect my laptop and use that.
Jess is
Okay.
going to inadvertently end the stream, and then I'm going to be the Omnidog. Because here's, and I don't know, because Jess is keeper of so many secrets now. I don't know what's true and what's not true anymore because of the gaslighting. Just like we all got on, and Jess was mouthing, "Can't hear me," and I was like, "No," because his sound was off. Because Jess plays mind games. So I don't know what's on his shelves or not now. But just the thing that I noticed was that you kind of drop off in the 90s when the Omnibus coverage ends. So now I know you have Excalibur, that's cool. But there's some 90s X-Men that isn't really well omnibused. And then there's some that's like omnibus that I don't know if you had. So I would say, I don't know about you, Freddie, I would say that Fatal Attractions is like a pretty big deal if you want to do a complete X-Men read, that kind of like early 300s Uncanny. I do think Uncanny 298 through 300 are some of the best issues of Uncanny post Claremont. I don't think Just has that.
I know I don't have them because I sold all those hardcovers.
Well, I'm here to make you feel bad about that.
I had a feeling that was coming next.
I would make him feel bad. Like, I don't think he needs to own the complete Fatal Attractions. Maybe
That's true. Well,
Yeah,
there's an Epic collection just of the. That's what I. So talk about Epic collections, Jeff, and realize that your friendship with Curtis is on the line here. Tell us how you feel about Epic collection.
Oh, there's Reaper. Reaper's the one that lives in the penguin colony.
Reaper
can't I didn't know that. I know Reaper from my channel.
Yeah. Reaper's a great guy, and he's the one that lives with his partner in the penguin colony in Australia.
Yeah, Reaper's great.
Okay, so are we starting with Excalibur? Because before that, well, Ecstatics is up there for some weird reason because I couldn't fit it up. Captain Britain. I have a Omni of Captain Britain.
Well, that answers one of the questions in the chat.
All right. Okay, I know. Okay. All right, let's see. We'll
the
go.
Chat's asking for Omnicam.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Look,
some of these,
so many books, some
of these
books
that you will see are customs that I got. So you will see, like right here, Secret Avengers. That's a custom that I bought.
He can't reveal where that's from. It's under cover of night. They have code names. They were masked.
That is true.
It's kind of like that Tom Cruise movie with the sex, Eyes Wide Shut, but with omnibuses instead of sex. Maybe there's sex too. I can't say, but there's definitely omnibuses and masks, and it's creepy.
Yeah, and then he just shows off those masks for us, speaking to us in code, looking for people that are his kind.
His kind. How dare you? Okay.
Yeah, and it's hard to get that salacious omnibus action here in New Zealand. Many fewer opportunities compared to the States.
There's the next shelf, which doesn't have anything that interests X-Men fans. Here's where I put Captain Britain.
It does explain the omnibus mask, Teledeek. Yes. All this time it's been a strange kink, and none of us realized the connection up until this moment.
This is here because I didn't have room for it down below with the X's, but I read it and then shelved it. So there's Captain Britain. I don't think anything here qualifies. This is Daredevil, Carnage, like that. Whoops, my action figure of Gwenpool fell down. And there's
Cosmic Ghost Rider for some reason.
Yeah.
It's fun. The beginning of it is fun. I think the beginning is
fun. The Fantastic Four. Here's Excalibur, Dr. Aphra. Then there's a bunch of Deadpool and Daredevil. Hulk, Howard the Duck, Hulk. Inhumans, Don't Tell Geo. Let's see. Then we come down here.
That King in Black omnibus is so big. It looks like it's a special effect compared to the other omnibuses.
You know, it's
It doesn't look real.
Then we have New Mutants over here.
No FOMO there. Of course, with Volume 3 coming out, or already came out? Already, I think.
I think.
Right?
I think.
But
yeah.
not as good as Volumes 1 and 2. Still great, not as good as Volumes 1 and 2.
I mean, does Miss Marvel count as an X book now?
Currently, as of
But
Ms. Marvel the Mutant Menace, issue number 4, it certainly does.
Yeah, she's still. mutant.
Yeah, well, they really explained it. I mean, at risk of spoilers from a book that came out only 2 weeks ago, they really drew a clear, bright line to say, why is Kamala like she is in the comics? But also, without actually saying this, they also kind of defined exactly what her deal is in the MCU as well. And since it's Aman Vellani writing it, you're like, oh, okay, wink, wink, I get it. So I thought that was really fun because one of my big complaints about her in the MCU is like, well, that's not Ms. Marvel. Like, it's to me, Ms. Marvel is about the body transformation and the stretching because it's all kind of part of that teenager journey. But I really feel like she really kind of set it right in that last book. Of course, Aman Vellani's done writing Ms. Marvel for the moment because now she's going to be in the new NYX title written by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, who I do love. But I'm a little bit bummed that the Aman Vellani era is over because I think she really scripted her well.
For now, once NIX gets inevitably canceled, Iman will come back.
Oh, there's that X-Fan optimism we need.
Eric, yeah, I don't take the shrink wrap off until I'm ready to read it. That's my policy, and I have stuck with it.
Well, because if you have, I think people get all up in there like, well, then why did you not take the wrap off the books? If you're somebody who sells the books sometimes, it pays to keep the wrap on. And then also, not all of us are in friendly environments. The humidity in some of the rooms in my house in Wellington is 60%. So sometimes the books are safer in their shrink wrap.
Yeah,
until they're ready to be read.
I have 3 dehumidifiers down in this basement, so this was definitely a damp basement.
Yeah.
Let's see. Silver
So wait,
Surfer.
you've been so deep on the Omnibus tour here, Jess.
Yep.
What is the feeling on Epic collections? I haven't seen any. Do you buy them?
Yeah, I have. All I have is the Ann Nocenti run of Daredevil. I wouldn't have a lot to talk to Curtis about. I don't generally collect epics.
What about
so
the
you
modern
heard it here that
epics?
Jess is confirming his friendship with Curtis it's not even over. It was always a sham. So please remember that the next time that there's voting on an Evergreen show on very fine condition.
I won't be on the Evergreen epic list. I know that.
But Freddie, I would say that in the current state of affairs, actually, you probably could cover a lot of the FOMO-y parts of early 90s X-Men with like a handful of epic collections.
Oh yeah, that would not be. That would be fine. I had trouble with that. Yeah, no, I don't have anything against epics. I just, have gravitated towards a different format. But if filling in the gaps is, excuse me, just getting a few epics, then yeah, sure, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's like how you don't hate all Canadians, just some of them.
I think like 90% of the things you've said have nothing to do with what I've said. It's like you're making everything up.
What are you talking about, Jess? Can you not hear yourself?
I said nothing about Canadians.
You did.
I have a couple. What?
I'm
I have
gaslighting
several
you.
Canadian viewers. I love my Canadian viewers. True Graphic. Okay.
See, that's one exception.
Well, because the reason I bring up the epics is I think Freddie made a good point. Like, I am not here to FOMO anybody really about anything. Buy the books that you want to like. But since we're here to try to get Jess's ire raised a little bit about things he's missing, I think saying that somebody needs to buy the Fatal Attraction omnibus is like really, like it's all pretty good, but it has a lot of stuff that's off to the side of the main thing. And Fatal Attractions is not like a direct crossover. It's kind of just like all of the mischief being caused by the acolytes at that time. But to me, that core of like Uncanny X-Men 298 to 300 and 304. The stuff like X-Men 24, or that's not even there. X-Men 25. Like to me, that's the best part of Fatal Attractions. And I want to say somewhere directly to my left here, that is all in a single Epic collection. To me, this is the FOMO Epic collection. This has all of, well, you would need the one before it to get those uncanny issues I'm talking about, because it starts with 301. But this has so much of the good 90s stuff. Oh, is my camera reversed?
No, you're fine. We can read it.
I'm fine. Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
So I would say this, and plus one of my favorite covers of all time, Gambit and Rogue about to
That's
seal their love with
recently
it.
released, right?
It is.
Yeah.
So that to me would be a FOMO. I feel like you don't need everything X-Men, but this is good 90s X-Men. Good Fabian Nicieza X-Men.
Yeah.
I don't know. Freddie, thoughts? Agree, disagree?
Agreed. I mean, I probably wouldn't recommend another Epic just for 2 issues, but that's me.
This issue so much.
What?
Richard also has a different option, like route that you could go with the milestones, but they're out of print right now.
Yeah, those were good. I wanted to jump on them at the time because it wasn't clear that the Epic collections were going to continue, and I was like, oh, I should buy all those milestone editions. Now I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because it seems like the Epic collections are going to get there. So that's one thing in Epic, right? That area right around Uncanny 300 that I really feel not only you're missing, but I think it's critical to X-Men, like the whole X-Men 25, Wolverine, Adamantium, Crash of Asteroid M, pretty much all the stuff they just did on X-Men 97 is very much in that zone. So I do think that that's some FOMO. And then the other thing for me, to speak for my Canadian brethren who I love and cherish, I would say Generation X. Not all.
I have all three. I have all three.
You do. You do have Epics.
I love Gen X.
So I do. Just
I would
lying
say the first
I'm not lying. I'm
issues of Gen X are like top quality X-Men. Freddie, yeah.
Oh, Gen X is amazing. I read everything that is right now on MU.
I love Gen X. So yeah, I do have those in Epic. Before we continue the tour, Reaper's getting ready to bounce. But he wants to ask, what are our favorite titles and time periods of the X-Men? It's easy for me because I don't have the history with X-Men that these two do. So I feel like it's everything. Well, I know Peter didn't like it, but I loved it. I love Bendis's X-Men. That's what really helped get me more into X-Men. And I've loved Krakoa. And whatever period New X-Men, Astonishing X-Men, and Uncanny X-Force were released. I love that era. Those are my favorite chunks.
New X-Men's like 2001, 2003. And then Astonishing is 2004 to 2006?
8?
2008?
Yeah, because it ends like the month before Messiah Complex.
Oh, right. I forgot all those delays.
Yeah. 24 issues, 4 years. Totally normal.
Just not
Good. I have some. Okay, good. I have some. I realize some things are out of order here then, because I have some customs that need to be set up.
Oh, we are organizing.
Yeah, I think we are going to.
Well, I think we're learning that there's secret books. There's always been a secret off-camera collection. Because Jess plays mind games.
Okay, here we are at the fabulous Phoenix collection.
Omnibuses. Now, is that Phoenix Volume 1 and 2, or have you just bought multiple of each one?
This is 1 and 2, and I've got her figure in front of it, which is awesome.
It is awesome.
Okay, then Punisher. Silver Surfer, Secret, Spidey, Star Wars, Thunderbolts, Ultimates, Venom, What If, Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
Which Freddie says you must sell immediately.
No, buy Volume 4 and then sell them to somebody else. Exactly.
Well, there's a Volume 5 now. I feel like I just...
There is,
just pre-ordered or just received Volume 5. I never know. I'm at the point where I have no idea what came in the most recent order. I truly don't know.
Yeah, I have.
I
everything
only know if things
pre-ordered.
came out if it says that it came out on Crushing Crisis. If we get to the weekly release post and I'm like, Wolverine #5 came out this week, I'm like, oh, I probably pre-ordered that. Yeah, I probably own that. But surprise, it came out this week.
Yeah, I have everything pre-ordered, so I'm never sure of like what I actually got and what is like 2 months ahead because I just know I
Right, there's
paid
that-
for it a year ago.
Yeah, there's that weird liminal space between when you know it got announced and when it actually is at your house where you're
Yeah.
not sure what the status is.
And you haven't moved it enough, so you're not sure if you do own it.
That's why I'm on that the Extinction Agenda Omnibus. I don't did it come out? It didn't come out yet, right? It's like later this year. I know that I've purchased it. I have exchanged currency to eventually own it, but I have no concept of when it's actually coming out.
Okay, so we're down here.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Jess is like army crawling across
Yeah,
the floor to
I
show
am
us the
kind of
bottom
on.
row.
Okay, wait. Okay, I'm on the floor. I'm missing Wolverine Goes to Hell, but I have
Okay.
Weapon X and Wolverine by Jason Aaron, Wolverine and the X-Men. Can you see these okay? Yeah, there's
Yeah.
X Factor.
Now, help me out. Just did that X Factor have all new X Factor, or are you missing that?
I don't think
Let's
that
see.
one's out yet.
This was a
No,
custom.
these are customs.
Yeah, I
Oh.
think they're all in this one. Yeah, these are the customs. We're collecting X Factor Volume 1, 232 to 262. Is that all new?
No, all
then
new
they
is
didn't put
literally all new.
It
It's
says
called
all
all
new.
new X Factor.
Then I don't think I have that.
That
I
will
have-
be in the last of the official omnibuses because the mapping just works
Yeah.
out perfectly. It'll definitely be in there.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you're probably gonna double dip with that one.
You don't need. Are you
With this
really gonna FOMO Jazz about all new X Factor, Freddie? Is
Listen,
that where
I
we
love
are?
all new X Factor.
Really?
I do.
I mean, it's a very fun team. I just don't know if I really ever like truly loved that serval industry stuff. I don't know. I'm
I
not
don't
saying it
know.
was bad. I don't know if
Yeah,
I loved it.
I love like the dynamics most of all, especially Gambit. He was really fun in that, and then the ending. Like I think they nailed, like Peter David nailed the ending.
Yeah, and it does close off a few last threads, but then also it's fun to see Peter David get to play with some other toys. Like he had the Madrox toys for so long. It's fun to see him get Warlock and Danger and
Yeah.
Gambit and do some different stuff. Yeah, that's true. I do like Gambit in that. So, gosh, I'm oh my now
give
Jess
me
is
one
doing push-ups.
No, there. I accidentally hit the emoji button. Okay. Okay, so here we are at X Factor, and there's the second volume of the original run. Let's see. Yeah, and then we have X-Men 1 and 2, Chris Claremont, and then Claremont 1, 3, 4, and 5, and Classic. And then here we have a big chunk of customs, which I have no idea where they go. X-Men, New X-Men Academy, X-Force by Kyle and Yost, Messiah Complex, and Second Coming.
You have a lot of those in other formats now.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
that now?
That is the least flattering angle that you have,
Yeah,
that you have
please,
ever
James,
given us
don't.
here on the
Yeah,
show.
James, don't clip that. I just noticed it was straight
Flip
up. my
it,
YouTube.
James.
Oh, but it was the funniest thing you've ever done.
So then there's Fall of the Mutants, Mutant Massacre, Legion.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, I hit that dumb emoji thing again. Okay, wait,
Well,
what is-
I'll tell you that you have new X. What was that? New X-Men and Academy X. Like you have that where it's supposed to go before X-Force.
Yeah, I mean these are in an approximate order, and that's fine. They're really just
Okay.
alphabetical, kind of. Sort of.
Okay, and then
But that's
down
fine.
here is
Now
the
we know
ring.
what we're working with.
Yeah,
All three of the X-Force books with their delightfully, totally clashing spines.
I know.
And they're just reissuing that first X-Force. They just did or are doing a reprint. So I wonder if the other two will get reprinted under those names or if they will reskin them as X-Force Volume 2 and X-Force Volume 3 with the same
Ooh,
content.
reskin
The way
them.
that they did with the Jack Kirby Omnibus being Captain America Volume 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have a good idea of the Marvel Omnis?
I think we do, and a lot of comedy along the way.
Okay, wait.
So, Freddie, now that we've had the full tour, is there anything else? Oh wait, hold on. Before I ask that, we have other chat questions to get to. Freddie,
Okay.
you never said what your favorite era of X-Men is.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
Reaper's long gone, but I love Reaper, so I'll answer.
Well, he'll cuddle a penguin later and then watch this with a penguin or two by the fire.
He definitely watches everything on replay.
Yeah, and he's very nice, especially to me and Max. Like, he's always leaving compliments. So thank you, Reaper. It's always appreciated. Let's see. Well, I do love the Bendis era a lot, and Astonishing because before I started reading X-Men, I watched the motion comic of Astonishing, and it's great.
Which is really cool. Yeah.
It's so cool, yeah. The Black Panther one's also good, even though it just doesn't like Hudlin.
Doesn't like what?
Hudlin.
I was not a fan of his Black Panther, no.
Not picking up that omnibus, newly announced on very fine condition.
Right. Yeah, it's funny. The Priest and Hudlin runs, I just did not do it for me. I haven't read a Black Panther book yet that excited me as much as the movie did. I still have Coates to read, but yeah, I've been really disappointed. Just the books just haven't grabbed me like I really want them to.
Yeah. So X-Men. Peter, what would be yours? I could keep adding.
I mean, clearly Alan Davis Excalibur. If Alan Davis is drawing it and it's an issue of Excalibur, it is one of my favorite X-Men comics. Both when he is drawing for Claremont at the beginning, and then especially when he comes back, starting I think at issue 42 through issue 66 or 67. I thought maybe I had inflated it in my mind that it wasn't like as good as I remembered it, and then I reread it with my kid, and Kid Crisis and I both just utterly delighted in it. So it absolutely held up.
What about the Utopia era? I feel like you're a big fan of Utopia.
I am a big fan of Utopia. I was going to say I have a soft spot in my heart for Claremont's return to like at Uncanny X-Men 444 and that initial New Age stuff, because I still think that has the old Claremont feel. He's not trying to do anything like new or radical, and he's playing with characters that he never really got to play with. He never really got to play with Emma Frost. I mean, Claremont, even though he originated her, really writes her for a total of less than like 12 or 15 issues across his whole 16 years.
Yeah, I think
and so I really like that little comeback.
Yeah, like I saw a post of somebody saying that I think she had like less than 21 appearances before she started turning like good.
Yeah, I have an Emma Frost guide, and it's one of my character guides where I go through, it's not just every book she's in, but I literally explain, like, is this a key appearance? Is she just in the background? Does it track to her journey as a character? And she's not quite as well managed as a character as Magneto, whose journey I think makes a lot of coherent sense. But it is kind of fun to see her motivations get broader and broader from this original kind of like S&M evil cackling villain to being somebody who like really does have some kind of sentiment around the next generation of mutants, even if it's a slightly misguided one. I mean, but then yeah, Utopia. I really do love the Matt Fraction era to the point that I feel a little embarrassed about how much I love it. Sometimes somebody on Twitter was saying to me like, how dare you not name the Matt Fraction era as one of your favorite eras or one of the best eras? And I'm like, I feel like just because I like it so much, I don't want to overinflate it, but I just think that was an era where everything was really clicking. I like any era where almost all the characters are on the board somewhere, which is why I like Krakoa. I think X-Men has amazing characters. Anytime it gets reductive and we're just seeing like the same 20 mutants across all the books, you can guarantee that I'm bored. I want to see as many mutants as possible.
Yeah, I also really love the Gillen run and rereading it, Wolverine and the X-Men, the Jason Aaron stuff. So fun, so great. And then I'm so bored with Spider-Man and the X-Men.
Oh, I like Spider-Man and the X-Men. It's cute. I mean, aside from having like the most viral panel of X-Men in it. But
I don't want to cure cancer. Just as lost. It's fine.
Yeah. What's
you'll
that?
get there, Jeff. You'll get there.
You'll see it one day.
Emma Frost is one of the she's the one I stan the most. If that's no, I stan. Oh, that's for a friendship or a relationship.
No. Standing is it
You can
originated in
stand,
Eminem
I can
song.
stand her. Okay, I
Crazy
totally
Pants.
I stand her and Magic the most, and that's why I like Bendis's run, because she's in it. Emma's in it a lot,
She is, yeah.
and I really dig how he wrote her. And of course, I love the Stepford Cuckoos, and that's excuse me, why I loved New X-Men so much. But that's and then of course that's one reason. I love Rogue, but I love Marauders in the Krakoa era, because it's like Emma and Kate Pride kicking ass totally. In the last thing I read in Trials of X of the Marauders was just freaking so fun, where they are where they steal this space pirate's ship, and there's so many twists and turns in it, and he gets his ship back, ejects them out into space, and they have exactly the right people to create, Iceman's there, so he creates an ice bubble in space, and they eject Kate Pride into space to get into the space pirate's ship, and she just kicks his ass, and I just love all of that, because it's just so fun. The inventiveness of, they're out in space with no breathable air, and they figure out a way to put
survive
a little ice bubble and with pyro in there, and they create water for oxygen. And I don't know, I love that whole thing. And then just seeing Kate Pride zipping through to beat up the space pirate, I just was like, this is why I read comics. This is fun stuff.
Yeah,
That's that appeals to me so much. I am ultimately reading comics to have fun, and like, am I a continuity stickler? Yes. Do I want characters to be like on voice? Yes. But to me, like, fun but not goofy. Sometimes comics just try to be goofy, and then they kind of lose me. But I just recently, something happened with Batman and the Zdarsky run. I don't want to spoil it if you're not up to it, Jess, but I saw a lot of people on Twitter being like, that was dumb, Batman, there's a limit. I'm like, yeah, but it was so fun to read, and I was so breathless between every panel of it that I am willing to set aside a certain amount of credulity and give maximum benefit of the doubt to if a character could do that, or does it make scientific sense or whatever. If it has me like heart beating fast as I'm reading the comic book, then that's what comic books are for. I think people forget how patently absurd some of the early Silver Age stuff that laid the basis. I mean, if you go back and read any Stan Lee Silver Age thing, as I was rereading Spider-Man's first fight with Sandman, it doesn't make any sense. and it's classic. It's hilarious. It's great comics. So yeah, I love those moments, and that's why I think Jess and Krakoa, that whole idea of mutant circuits is so fun, because it's like giving a name to basically the cool combo moves that we all love to see mutants do and work together, to say like, oh, that's when you got a mutant circuit. Sometimes giving a name to something like that, so we can be like, yeah, another mutant circuit, that like makes it fun.
Yeah, that's why I love Excalibur by Tini Howard. Like, all that mutant magic, like, it's always been there, but then suddenly, like, making it like part of the actual Krakoa era was just phenomenal. Like, it was like, it's one of the smart things that Krakoa did, and Krakoa did a lot of things smart.
I didn't have any experience with Captain Britain at all, obviously, but I loved all the magic and stuff in there in Excalibur. That was a ton of fun, and it had Psylocke in it too. And Psylocke was in Hellions, so I also stand Psylocke in a big way. So and Betsy Braddock is Captain Britain. I don't know not to accept her as a Captain Britain. I have no previous experience, so I thought she made a fine Captain Britain in the multiversal Captain Britain core. I had a lot of fun with Excalibur too.
Well, when you finally read your Captain Britain Omnibus, you'll see there is a continuity precedent for that.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry I saw this too late. That would have made a big difference. I'm sorry.
Oh, you've missed a
just
lot of chat, Jess. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know if Freddie and I could possibly.
No.
Peter, I'm sorry. I do not collect Berserk. I read the first volume, and it's hard for me to read manga, and Berserk just wasn't for me.
But I will say, just like to make this an Emma Frost show, going back and reading Gen X and all of those 2003 or 2009 X-Men, the character that made me the most emotional reading, like seeing that there was an actual growth and impact, was Emma Frost. Like from her regretting that she was a villain in Gen X to all the way like in Marauders finally making peace with Kitty, Kate, because in Astonishing she gets like a PTSD flashback punch to her nose, which is very funny. Yeah, because she's suffering delusions because of what just happened in Genosha, which I didn't like Morrison's new X-Men because they didn't really deal with anything emotional going through Genosha.
Okay.
But Astonishing, like suddenly explores everything that Emma's feeling, like, you know, having a dead student in her arms. Like that got me.
Yeah.
X-Men 97 definitely upgraded Morrison's Genosha story in a major way.
Boy, I love that cartoon. Richard, this is actually a good question. This is part of why I needed the help to organize this stuff. I feel like now my collection is actually organized well enough that I can do a video tour. I'm able to because of the Kalax shelves in this room, but in the other room I've got Billies all over the place, and it's like Batman, Superman, depending on where there's no flow of that because it depends on where editions fit in the Billy shelf. So this is aesthetically the more pleasing room, but I am going to do one. No love for X-Men Gold. I think I had it, and I think Peter made me get rid of it.
No, it's on the shelf.
Yeah, it's there.
It is on my shelf.
Yeah, we
Oh,
organized
it's on your shelf.
No, it's on your shelf.
Exactly. We organized it.
X-Men Gold?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
No, does he just have blue? I guess you mostly just have blue.
I think
And
I
red.
mostly
Blue, red, and
blue.
black.
I do remember
I guess
having...
maybe you don't have gold. Keep it that way. I mean, it
I probably
does
did.
have Rachel Summers, who I do love.
Ooh, yeah,
And it
we
does
do.
have Kitty, who I do love. So
Yeah.
think about how bad a comic book has to be for it to have Kitty Pryde and Rachel Summers, and for me to say that I don't like it. Think about that.
Yeah, and you know, it has a really dramatic wedding, and it's also the most boring, really dramatic wedding.
Well, and one, as was widely speculated at the time, because Gold was written so badly, usually, everybody speculated that Kelly Thompson did a polish pass on the wedding issue 30, because all of a sudden it was like funny and charming, and then it went right back to being bad the next issue, and it's like, okay, that's not a coincidence. Did somebody let Kelly Thompson ghostwrite some of the dialogue in that issue, because it was Kelly Thompson quality. I don't know how she does it, man. It's like magic. Not only is she a good writer, but it's like a direct feed into my brain. Like, I feel like she makes the jokes that I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be funny? And then the joke happens. And I don't think everything has to be exactly to your taste and the thing you would subscribe to. Like, sometimes as consumers of media, we have to learn how to like something that's not just for us custom, right? But I do feel like almost everything that Kelly Thompson writes is just for me. So I get to eat that cake whenever I want.
Karuma, my Tom Taylor X-Men, that is where the book cam is going to show you. I have his X-Men, both books of his X-Men read, if that's what you're asking about.
So, Freddie, I feel like we've talked about all potential FOMO up until 2001, and it turns out Jess had it all and it was just hidden from us. Do you have any FOMO picks from after 2001? And I will say, Jess, you have a very complete collection of post 2001 X-Men.
Yeah.
Going through, I mean, there's like a trade here or there that maybe you're missing, but nothing critical, nothing big, nothing major. And if some of it's stuff that I love, but it's not like everybody needs it kind of X-Men. So Freddie, is there anything post 2001?
Well, let's revisit some of the stuff that I've helped just get already before the FOMO show. It was one of them was Omnidog. I think did I tell you to get the X-Force by Brisen?
Just a sec. Upper management is texting me about something. Okay,
Important.
got it.
I believe he does have
wait.
X-Force by President.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Well, he had volume 1. I don't know if you got volume 2.
X-Force. I'm sorry. Say it again. By Brisson.
By Brisen, yeah. It should be after the Rosenberg X-Men. Or during, around that.
And is that okay? Cullen Bunn is blue. X-Men Red is Taylor. X-Men Black. Are we in the ballpark here? What am I looking for then?
Yeah, it's somewhere around Disassembled. X-Force.
It's right after Extermination, which has a black spine with a gold X on it. It's the next book you have. There's X-Force.
There's Extermination right there. New Mutants.
I think you only have volume 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, wait. I can actually move this. Then we can go down to where you're talking about. Right here.
There we are.
There.
Now we're there.
How's that look? Okay.
Can you make that bigger?
Yeah, just a sec. That's what she said. Wait, just a sec.
Yeah.
Like
There we
that?
go. 00711's gonna be happy.
Oh, yeah. This makes a lot more sense. Okay, so how's that?
Yeah, it's good.
Here's disassembled. Here's, did you say New Mutants? What did you say?
No, X-Force after Extermination.
Yeah, he's only got that one volume of
I've
X-Force.
only
Do you
got
like
one
the
volume
book,
of that.
Freddie?
Yeah, you're missing volume 2.
God
Okay.
bless you.
X-Force Britain, Volume 1. Brisson, rather. Volume 2.
Yes.
Well, that's
Got
what I'm
it.
missing.
That's what I'm missing. Okay.
Talking about missing things, not even on that shelf, but I guess like one or two shelves before that, I was looking at all the things we did last episode, and we were talking about Fraction and Gillen. You have a book called Breaking Points, which is like when Gillen first takes over, and then you have the 2 Uncanny X-Men by Gillen, 1 and 2, after which everything else is in the AVX Omnibus. I don't think you have Uncanny X-Men Fear Itself, which is not only the Fear Itself tie-ins, which Gillen does a very good job in. It has a very entertaining panel that gets referenced on social media a lot about. That was only, it's not just plan 1 and 2. We have plans like A through Z or something like that. But also it has the end of the original volume of Uncanny X-Men. And I think it's like the one Uncanny X-Men you're really missing from 500 all the way to volume 2, number 20. So that is both good and critically missing. So I think Uncanny X-Men Fear Itself is one of my FOMO picks for you.
Okay. You FOMO picks. Now, where...
Oh, to the right, further to the right. Keep going. We want probably the next one to the right. So there's the first Uncanny X-Men by Matt Fraction. Keep going right. There's the second Uncanny X-Men by Matt Fraction. Keep going right. So then there's the third Uncanny X-Men by Matt Fraction. And then you go into having single trades. And right around there is where you're missing Uncanny X-Men Fear Itself. I do think that there's just a Gillen Volume 1 trade now.
Okay, so somewhere right in here?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Is that not collected anywhere? Like besides a trade?
I think it's in the
itself.
Gillen, the Uncanny X-Men by Gillen Volume 1, I want to say. Let me fire up Ye Old Crushing Crisis and see if that's the case.
Okay.
I feel like that's really all that needed to be organized. Because FOMO'd, because I think you felt like this section you had organized. Well, you had organized it, but I don't think you had told me if anything needed to be added.
Yes, Freddie, it does appear in Uncanny X-Men by Kieran Gillen, the complete collection. Volume 1, but that was
Okay.
from 2019, so that it's $91 to try to get it on Amazon right now. So
Yikes.
possibly not easy. Although you never know what you could do on eBay.
How about this shelf?
Well, let's see. You know what, Freddie, you know what I don't know if he has? Does he have Gambit by Asmus?
He had. We talked about this. He had complete collections that were somewhere else.
Oh, somewhere in some other remote location. I really
Exactly.
like
Wait a
the
minute.
book.
I remember
Because
those books.
Because
Yeah,
to me,
Gambit,
that has
King
a
of
very
Thieves.
similar vibe to McKay Black Hat, and I know you love that.
Yeah, it's so
So,
good.
so I think you probably would really appreciate it.
Okay, wait a sec. Whoop, didn't mean to do that. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Let's get us everybody. No, what the hell? Uh-oh. There we go. Okay, wait. I remember those books because I remember I liked them. They came out in like 2019, right? Somewhere in there.
Maybe. Like at least a complete collection.
It's not X-Men Gambit Volume 1 and 2 complete collection, is it?
No, it's called Gambit, King of Thieves.
Damn it, where is that?
And then there's another one that's, I want to say, from 2005 series, 2004. That's a Gambit, Thieves World, is it?
I have all those in
love
the
those
original
books.
trade still, which used to be.
Why would
quite
I
hard
not
to
have
find.
those?
Yeah, it has a purple spine.
Yeah, I remember those books.
Because we
I
talked
just,
about
well,
this. Where
I mean,
you
I
had,
just really feel like, I mean, they're not critical. It truly doesn't matter, but I just feel like you'd like them.
I think so. That's why I got them, because I had heard good things about them, but I can't imagine I wouldn't have sold them because
Yeah,
I
you
really
told-
liked them.
You told me they were with the X23 complete collections.
I think I made a mistake. Yeah, those were the Gambit complete collections that I had.
Oh, so you don't have Gambit, King of Thieves?
Well, let me double check if it's in these.
Because to me, that was the best one.
I laugh, but this would be tragic if we tried to do it here because there's 3 different rooms in my house on 3 separate, not floors because it's a split
Yeah.
level, but 3 separate locations that have all these books. And if you ask me to hunt down some random book, that could be hours. There's 144 short boxes in the garage. They're all labeled and numbered, but if you ask me, Peter, go find the mid 2000s Gambit trades. That could be a while.
Yeah, I have 2 rooms that have.
Weird, because I really liked those. I read them and liked them, but why would they not be here? If I sold them, it would have been because I heard they were getting reprinted in something, and
No.
they're obviously not. I specifically remember those. Gambit. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, G. Red Hulk. No, I don't see it. Because I remember like number 1 or number 2, those trades were out of print and hard to find at the time.
Okay. Well, that's another one then.
Yeah. Okay. Where else are we going?
Do you have anything else?
Me?
No, Peter.
I have two little ones, but who knows? Jess could own them, as
Okay.
it turns out. But so one of them is I don't think Jess has Greg Pak's Extreme X-Men from like 2011 and 2012 that primarily stars Dazzler. He does have X-Men Extermination, which is the end of that, but he doesn't actually have the 2 trades of the actual series. I don't know if that's. I don't know if Jess would go crazy over that. I do. I love Dazzler. I love Greg Pak. So to me, it was very entertaining. I don't know if Jess would.
And what's it
Go
called
wild.
again? Extreme X-Men?
Extreme
By Pak?
X-Men by Pak. I mean, I know we didn't organize it for you. I'm just questioning if you've got it hidden away, scrolled away.
I don't think so. You organized all my extreme and uncanny new age.
Yeah. I don't know,
There
Freddie,
you
do you
go.
like that series?
I've never read that one.
Oh, it's a fun one. I mean, it's not only fun because it's Dazzler, but anytime anybody goes into the multiverse, I start to get a little annoyed because I'm like, what is the purpose? Because we could have endless multiverse books or stories of that's another Wolverine, right? Like, and it goes on forever. And in a way, that to me is just as boring as saying Spider-Man catches a villain robbing a bank again, right? It's just more of the same. Some people, it's exciting to see different Wolverines, and I acknowledge that, but to me, it's so dull. So when there's a good multiverse series or multiverse story, to me it has like a story engine in it that is unique and gives us a reason to be in the multiverse. It's why I liked Zdarsky's brief arc with Bruce Wayne in the multiverse. It's why I liked the recent Weapon X-Men series, which I thought was way better than anybody gave it credit for, by Christos Gage. And it's why I like Extreme X-Men, because there was a reason for Dazzler to be in the multiverse. And honestly, it really could have been called Exiles. It was an Exiles series that just was titled Extreme X-Men because they thought it would sell better as Extreme X-Men, but it was Exiles.
Well, that's another good question. Jess, where are your Exiles books? Because I know you have all the complete collections.
They're at the very end after the Krakoa hardcovers.
Okay.
I didn't know where to put them, and I know I wanted to keep them separate because I want to read that whole run.
No, that's fine. Okay, well, I have something else. It is Cable by James Robinson and Ed Brisson. That would be volumes 1 and 2. They have black spines. They're from 2017, just before Extermination. The first volume's not that good, but the second volume's really fun. It has Dupe.
Well, and then isn't there a third volume that's by
Oh, you're
Thompson
right.
and Nadler? That
Yeah.
one's really good.
Yeah, that one's really good too.
I
So
would,
Cable-
if you're going to do that, I absolutely would make sure you get that volume too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Cable. Got it.
Is that? I'm just looking through my guide. Yeah, it's 3 volumes. Volume 1, Conquest. Volume 2, The Newer Mutants. And Volume 3, Past Fears. And that all comes right before Extermination.
Okay.
Yeah, the first one's dull, but the other 2 are really fun.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the second one because it's art I really don't like. Josh Malin, not a favorite of mine. Whereas the first
Okay.
one's like Carlos Pacheco, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty to look at, but it's just an average Cable fights Strife. What's his name? His clone?
Yeah, Strife.
Strife, yeah.
You know, the reason I would go to bat for this is Cable so often, it's like, why does he exist? Like, they bring him to the modern day, and it's like, oh, he's an old guy, he knows things, and it's like, well, what does that do for us in terms of the mutant story? Because they can't have him too explicitly know everything, or else it takes the fun out of things like Krakoa, because he knows how it ends. And they were always very cagey about if he knew about Krakoa during Krakoa. But I like that first volume by James Robinson because they specifically play that he's being time cop. He's like being the anti-Kang, where it's like Cable's trying to be at the places in time where things could get messed up to prevent them from getting messed up by time travelers, rather than doing what we usually see, which is like characters going back to like fix something or change something. Cable's like the anti-change agent. And I remember thinking at the time, that's actually such a smart way to use Cable that gives him relevance that he doesn't usually have. But that's just me. I can't be right every time.
1, 2, and 3. I've got them on my list. Let's take a viewer question from Richard Fearing, Jess, Peter, and Freddie. What X-Men run did you think that you were gonna love, but were disappointed by it?
Freddie?
I can tell you right now.
Oh,
Fallen
yeah?
Angels.
I tried to stick up for it, man. I tried.
My 2 favorite characters, and
No, the art was so not Krakoa. Like, even to the end, it does not look like any other Krakoa book at all.
And I love that artist, Simon Kodransky, on a lot of books. I'm a big fan. I think he did Black Eyed Kids for Aftershock. He's done some Spawn. But I think there is something when you violate the house style or look of a certain line, it's got to be with purpose, right? All these things, everything always with purpose. Use the multiverse with purpose. Time travel with purpose. It's always like do it intentionally. And Fallen Angels, I just didn't feel like there was a point to why it looked so different. There was no tone that necessitated it feeling and looking that way.
Yeah. Disappointed. I didn't like Morrison's new X-Men. It, like I've heard it was ugly. I didn't expect how ugly it would get. It's really funny. As I was reading it on Marvel Unlimited, I kept sending Max a bunch of screenshots. Like, oh no. But I reread the Disassembled era, and after that first hardcover, when Brisson and Kelly Thompson stopped writing the book, I'm just surprised how much I didn't enjoy it at all. It just maybe it's because I was reading it like rereading it just before Krakoa and when things got a little bit happier, but it just turned so dark at one point, and then it pushed Emma back. That was a slight spoiler. Pushing her back to slight villainy, and yeah.
I would say that was actually going to be my answer as well, and for a slightly different reason.
Okay.
I really liked what is his darn name? Matt Rosenberg at that time.
Yeah.
Like I loved 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank, which actually on my original stream with Jess, I was talking about 6 years ago how much I loved it. I loved his New Mutants Dead Souls. It was one of my favorite books of 2018. So I went into X-Men like, F yeah, we have somebody who really gets it. But you know what? Rosenberg can be a very cynical writer to begin with. Yeah. And then the amount of cynicism he was let off the leash to do, because it was right before Hickman, and he really had to like F things up a lot because that was going to make Krakoa more exciting. I just don't have fun with cynical comics. And the same with TV shows. I don't like cynical TV shows. They're all about everything being bad for everybody. It's not because I need everything to be happy. It's just like with the amount of media I consume, I could consume something more fun than that. So I just, yeah. And I don't know, unfortunately, if Matt Rosenberg has ever fully recovered in my eyes from that. I have liked some of his DC stuff a lot. I think he can be very charming sometimes, but I just view him as this very cynical author now. So kind of like spoiled my ability to enjoy his work a little bit, which is a bummer because I think he's a really cool guy, but I just can't really get into him anymore.
Yeah, and there were some generally like really good moments that were because they were funny and lighthearted. Like Juggernaut asking like, "Why isn't Emma Frost on the list?" And everybody's just, "Who is she?" That was so funny and so silly, and I wish the book was more like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, New Mutants Dead Souls, which Jess has, fantastic. One of the best New Mutants books ever. So clever, so creepy.
Yeah,
and so I had such high hopes.
It's right there with Multiple Man, which I also really loved.
Yeah. Wait. And even his Astonishing X-Men, that third Astonishing X-Men trade with issues 13 to 17, with like Dazzler, Havoc, Colossus, and Banshee as the team, that is also really fun. I just think the wheels came off a little bit when he got, and that's sad to see. Like, you never want to see a writer get to write. Uncanny X-Men is one of those books, right? It's like Action Comics, Detective Comics, Amazing Spider-Man, Uncanny X-Men. There's a few books that if you get to write those, that's like a career high. So I like never want to see somebody get on one of those books and not be great. That's a bummer for me as a reader that they had their chance on that book and it wasn't great. That makes me sad.
It's just before it's around Extermination. New Mutants. I think it also has like a black spine.
No, there it is. Okay.
Or a gold one.
It's
don't be taking it off the shelf. Then we'll lose our whole organization.
No, you're right. It has a black spine. Okay, good.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, so you have that.
I had a question about New X-Men: The Quest for Magic.
Okay.
I felt like I was missing something New Mutant-y. I mean, I have New Mutants by Zeb Wells, and I have X-Men: The Quest for New X-Men: The Quest for Magic. I feel like I might be missing something, some connective tissue in there. Oh. Am I wrong in that?
No, you're not missing it. I think before Quest for Magic is when she reappears that's in the new X-Men Academy X era. So
Okay.
so
Okay.
she has like a brief appearance there, and then a, a few years later she they do Quest for Magic like properly.
Okay, so and then New Mutants stands on its own by Zeb Wells, and then everything.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. So you don't want to go. Okay. You've got the PDFs in front of you, so you know like the Necrotia, X Force, X-Men Age of X, that Uncanny X-Men, all those books, that particular panel. There's nothing missing on that one.
There might be. I'd have to think about it later when I have
Later, I'm paying
Log
you
my
right
brain.
now.
Yes. Worth having fear of missing out on? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Fair.
if we really wanted to be sticklers, I could go through and tell you a lot of little ones and twos, random miniseries and stuff that you could buy. But it doesn't sound like your goal is to have every X-Men book ever, wasting thousands of dollars and hours of your life, like some crazy people have done. It sounds like what you want is to read really good X-Men stories. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I did notice you were missing, and it's like, do I care? Is when Brian Wood first took over Adjectiveless X-Men before Marvel Now, it actually was really fun for me because I feel like so often people are like, I just want to see the X-Men be X-Men, like get them on the Blackbird and have them do something, which is a lot of why people did like X-Men Gold, which I think is horrible. I think Brian Wood actually really understood how to do that very well. And you have one of the two volumes of that. You have X-Men Reckless Abandonment, which is one of the two volumes. The other volume is called X-Men Blank Generation. Do I need you to have FOMO about that? No, I certainly don't. I don't think you will ever know the difference. If you didn't read it, it's never going to be referenced again. Nobody's ever going to care. Do I think it was a decent X-Men story that's a lot of fun and has Storm being cool? Yes. So, like,
Yeah.
I tried to limit myself to only things that a vast chorus of X-Men fans would give you FOMO about. Oh, no, you do have both of them. See?
Oh,
Well,
good.
Look at me pulling those
No.
out, right?
I only saw the second one, and I guess maybe the first one was like pushed in a little bit farther.
Yeah, that's possible. Uh-oh, where'd I get these?
Oh, see, now I can't
Oh,
help you,
no.
Jess. You're
Damn
not
it.
supposed to take them off the shelves.
Damn it.
But yeah, speaking of things that
I see where. Okay.
you won't enjoy and you won't even remember, there's a New Mutants run that takes place around Academy X. If you never read it, it won't affect you at all.
You mean the New Mutants run right before Academy X, or do you mean
It was around that
Young
period.
X-Men after Academy X?
It was, I think it was called New Mutants. It had Karma and adopting a mutant.
Right, that's like the DeFilippis and Weir run that comes right before Academy X. It's like 13
Yeah.
issues. It wasn't collected for the longest time.
It's also not very good.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like
Like,
they
does it set up Academy X? Yes. Do you need
Yeah.
to read it to enjoy Academy X? Absolutely
No.
not.
No,
Yeah.
you don't even need to read like most of Academy X or that new X-Men. Like you could start from Kyle and Joe.
Yeah, you start from issue 20, you'll be fine.
Exactly.
007, yeah, I have all of them. I have all the oversized hardcovers.
Unfortunately, it looks like Ben Percy might be the only one who they see it through with. I don't, because they finish Excalibur, but then there could have been like an extra Teeny Howard volume that had like Knights of X, and I just remember. I mean, I don't buy them, but they're all in my Krakoa guide, which is massive. And Marvel really dropped the ball both on the anthologies and the OHCs. For a while there, it really seemed like they were going to figure out how to put everything in OHC. And then as time developed, we realized that there was always going to be stuff missing. I mean, Fallen Angels never wound up in an OHC. It kind of seemed like it would have made sense to put Fallen Angels in with Hellions because it's a Sinister book, and it kind of sets up Sinisters and Quanon, who then goes on to be the lead of Hellions. I was like, oh, perfect. Fallen Angels is so crappy, nobody will buy it on their own. But if they just put it in the Hellions book, then nobody will care. But no, it wasn't in Hellions, so Fallen Angels got abandoned. Yeah, the plan was never that good to begin with, I don't think.
No, yeah, and then the very first abandoned book was X-Men Fantastic Four by Zdarsky.
Yeah, that too also got abandoned early on. And that's not even in the anthology trades.
No, it's nowhere.
Yeah.
and it's a good book.
Yes, Rodimus, I will be on tomorrow night. It's truly amazing how you guys are making this work from opposite corners of the globe. Respect.
And
Nice.
both on islands.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just get out of a continent. What are you doing?
That's
The
so
missing
old
oh,
school.
next,
being on a
imagine it.
continent.
The missing gamma trades have been victim to some sort of quantum. Yeah, it happens all the time with me. And energy sensitive zones like the hallowed ball.
Yeah,
That really upsets me because I really love those two books.
yeah. Gambit is somewhere with the first Excalibur book and the Stumptown hardcovers.
God, thank you for bringing that up. I remember that when I was on my hunt back in like 2000, in the 2016, 2018 period, when I was trying to help everybody on that Facebook page find books, that was one of my specialties, was finding those Gambit Asmus books. And I would never have sold them at all because I loved them and I just don't get it. It gripes my cookies because I really dug them.
Yeah, well, Sato has a bunch of slander going on right now. Like, I'm sorry if you're looking for people that hate Teenie Howard, it's not here. You know, we love all her books, I think. Am I speaking wrongly, Peter? You're making a face. What do you not like?
I loved early Teenie Howard. I loved Euthanauts. I loved her Captain America annual. And I was like, okay. And I other stuff too. I was definitely reading every single thing she wrote anywhere for a while. And I was like, when she got into the X office, I was like, awesome, perfect, great. This is the kind of person we need in the X office. Then I just feel like the bigger the book she's on, and I feel like this is the case with a lot of writers, like the bigger the book, the more kind of like squirrely and unfocused it gets. I think Dugan actually is the same way. I love Jerry Dugan when he writes weird indie crap, when he writes Deadpool, when he's like 1 degree, even Marauders. I think he's good when he's like 1 degree off from center. And then as soon as Jerry Dugan is writing X-Men, I'm like, this is stupid. And I kind of feel a little bit the same way about Teenie Howard. I'm like, she's just and I don't think that's a, oh no, my fave is doing something cool now, so I have to like roll my eyes. I just think there are certain writers who do their best work when they're a little bit farther away from the center ring of the circus, the spotlight, the center stage. And to me, that's Teenie Howard. I'm like, let her be weird. She should be writing like a Zatanna book. I don't understand why they have her writing Harley Quinn. It is such a bad fit. Sometimes it's funny, but it's just not the right book for Teenie Howard. And it makes me crazy because I do like her, but I just think it's the wrong book.
I haven't started reading it yet, so I don't know.
Yeah,
but what about Excalibur?
I think Excalibur was pretty good. I think at points it got a little inconsequential. Like sometimes it got a little like, what is this issue about? But then you would read the next issue and it would be like that amazing Malice issue, which to me is like, okay, this is how I know Teenie Howard is a great writer.
Yeah, because I feel like out of all the early Krakoa writers, the person that was most envisioned with Hickman was Teenie. Like I feel like
I agree.
They were both so in sync about what it was, and I find it so funny about Apocalypse going all day them like, oh, it's A now.
It's that symbol.
That symbol, yeah. It's like the A with the things. Like it's so like you can't speak about allegory without going like, oh yeah, Apocalypse is they them.
You know, I never thought about it that way. As somebody who loves me some they them in a comic book. But I mean, allegorically, right. And in as much as the X-Men are ever an allegory, like the idea that like I have a totally different name that doesn't exist in your language is an interesting allegory to use plural pronouns for me, or the singular they, as the case might be.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, they them with the squad, and then oh, for you it's Apocalypse.
Do we want to continue X-Men talk? Are we done FOMOing me, or are there still some places you want to look at?
I have a few.
I don't know if there's anything else to FOMO, Freddie.
Sounds like Freddie has something in his holster.
Yeah, I'm sure you have them, but I didn't see them. Do you have the X-23 by Tamaki?
Yeah, they
Yeah, it's
are.
2 volumes.
Yeah, I do have that.
Okay.
Oh, is that okay? Wait a sec.
It's 23. Yeah, I think for some reason I put it at the end of
It's 23. Oh no, that's by Schultz. What the hell? X23, X23, X23.
by Tamaki. That's not in the complete collections, right?
No. This
Oh
is
no,
just
yeah,
two
that is a
fins.
fun little run. It starts out with Juan Cabal with Nolan Woodard on colors,
Yeah.
which is one of my favorite art teams. They also did the beginning of Tom Taylor's Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Yeah, that's a, and I think Tamaki hit that note of grief and like feminine, quiet rage better on X-23 than she did on She-Hulk and Hulk,
Yeah.
which I think gets beaten up a lot. It's like, oh, that book wasn't good. I think actually the better version of that book was X-23.
Oh yeah, I have them. Assassin and Family album.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, they were over by her complete collections, which is on the other side now.
Okay, great. Yeah, I feel like why people didn't like her She-Hulk as much is besides it coming after several decades of fun She-Hulk books, it's that people ignore the ending. Like, and I'm not talking about people reading. I'm talking about other creators. Like Jason Aaron just kept She-Hulk being gray after Tamaki cures her at the end.
Yeah, they really didn't pay attention
Yeah.
to it.
Exactly. So that emotional payoff, it's just gone. I don't want to say it's
Okay.
not. Yeah. Let's see. Do you have Daughter of Wolverine?
No, he has a
Don't
daughter.
make him buy that. Don't.
No, I'm not
How
making him
dare
buy
you.
it. I'm not making him buy it. I just want to know if he has it. But I do want you to buy though, if you don't have them, Savage Wolverine. And you know what? Maybe don't even buy them because they'll probably get like a modern epic or something at some point.
Savage Wolverine.
Yeah, I think the first one's by Frank Cho.
Yeah, I considered recommending that. I don't love that first arc by Frank Cho, but I do like. There's one where he has to like save a bunch of elephants from poachers. Oh, that one. That is such a. Is it Gil Simone? It's somebody that you like that normally doesn't write Wolverine. I'm gonna have to look it up now. But I really, really liked that.
I don't think I have Savage Wolverine.
Yeah,
I have to see who
how
wrote that
many
issue.
issues
How-
was that? Was like
How recent is
20?
that?
Beginning
20?
of now.
was it like I think for some reason I thought it was like an odd number, like 17. But yeah, it could be 20.
Well, I'm about to tell you.
Yeah, they're Marvel now. They take place at the same time as
23.
20 23. Okay, so odd number.
But I have to find that elephant issue. Who wrote it? And it's a bunch of people who like never usually write Wolverine. John Arcudi, who writes a lot of BPRD, wrote it. Who else?
Yeah, it was coming
Gail
out,
Simone. That's not the issue I was thinking. But Gail Simone
Okay.
does.
but she did.
She did write an issue.
Oh, who is this guy?
Crisis DB. Still
The writer
still
for
high functioning.
the writer for Saucer Country and Saucer State. He was writing Wolverine at the same time as Savage was coming out. So you have that main run where it's setting him up to die, and at the same time you have this anthology series that starts off, being your average Wolverine, but then it becomes fun.
Well, and the fun thing about it too is that it's from all different time periods. It's not linear.
Yeah.
It's anthology style, and so you don't have to really care about what's going on in continuity. I think Wolverine's a good enough character to always support a book like that. Like you could always have a Wolverine book that's just like random Wolverine stories.
And make it more fun by having creators that usually would be writing him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're talking about Wolverine books that are not widely beloved, but that I love, that I don't think Jess has, I love Wolverine the Best There Is by Charlie Houston and John Jose Rip. I'm upset. It's so bad. Not bad like a bad book, but it's so transgressive. It's so messed up. It's so purposefully annoying in the way that he writes the characters in it. And I just love it. One of the tropes in it is that Wolverine's in like real trouble and he needs help, but Scott and Emma are too busy having sex to help him, and they keep him like, I'm sure Logan is fine. And it's just it's kind of like taking the piss a little bit out of X-Men. And Rip I think Rip is my favorite Wolverine artist. I just told him this on Twitter. If you guys don't, I have to find his actual Twitter handle. He tweeted this amazing page that he drew in the new Wolverine Blood Hunt, which I loved. And then written by Tom Waltz, who wrote a lot of TMNT. And I think it's his first Marvel book. And I was like, oh, I love Rip's art. And I went to his profile and he had like 100 followers. I'm like, this is my favorite modern Wolverine artist. He has 100 followers. What are we doing? And so I retweeted him like, come on, people. So I'll put his Twitter in the chat because he's my favorite Wolverine artist and he's astounding and he needs more followers.
Good night to my cookie buddy Kane. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, there is a complete series, but I don't know if it's like a UK book.
No, I think I think it's real.
No, I'm sure it's real, but I don't know if it's
it's real
a
in
Marvel
America.
UK. Okay. But yeah, I'll show you some covers just so you can see. This is ridiculous looking.
Wait.
It looks fun because it looks so. Look at that! It's just Wolverine being Wolverine.
Whoa.
So aggro.
I love it. Have you read it? I love it. It's so stupid.
I didn't even know about this. I'm gonna put this in my MU list.
Oh, it's so deeply stupid. Do not think I'm recommending you like a high quality, like thoughtful book. It's like Wolverine in a Deadpool book almost. That's the level of stupidity, and it's so satisfying to just see somebody. and it's not like goofy like Wolverine and the X-Men. It's like people getting their guts ripped out, Deadpool goofy. And something about it just like really, really works for me.
Yeah, and just if you're gonna own Hunt for Wolverine, you might as well have Return of Wolverine.
No, not hot claw daddy. I know you're not here trying to FOMO just about hot claw daddy Wolverine.
I'm just saying he has a worse book than that already.
A worse book than Hunt for Wolverine?
No. I'm saying Hunt for Wolverine is worse than Return of Wolverine.
Oh, yeah. I don't have Return of Wolverine, but I did notice that Samantha has boarded the plane. She's going to go back and watch this from the beginning later. Peace and love, Samantha. Safe journey.
Nice. Thank you, Samantha.
While we were talking Wolverine, the chat has totally forsaken us, and they're just talking about Dan Mora.
Yeah.
They're in a totally different.
This is a great comment from you, Peter, that I thought Leah Williams would be a psychopath. She would be great writing Harley. I posted this pile of Trials of X and Inferno and Death X Lives. I put it on IG yesterday. And I said my absolute favorite, though, and I liked a lot of it. I mean, I loved a lot of it. I felt Trials of X was way stronger than Reign of X, and I still liked Reign of X. But Trial of Magneto, I tagged her and just gushed with praise over it. I loved that story about how off balance it kept everybody, but still engaged. And she wrote back and said, thank you so much for reading, with like little cute emojis. And I'm like, Leah Williams, you would have been so great. After she's done with Power Girl, I want her to be the next writer in Harley Quinn.
She absolutely 100% should be watching, reading, writing, all of the verbs. Harley Quinn. T.D. Howard's not funny in that way. T.D. Howard is funny, but she's much more like ironic, kind of like sarcastic humor. I really enjoyed her most recent arc of Catwoman, actually a lot, but I do not understand what she's doing on Harley Quinn. Whereas Leah Williams is a really weird fit for Power Girl, who is funny, but is not like a joke a minute kind of character. but would be great on Harley Quinn. I just think there needs to be a little bit of like merry-go-rounding over there.
Yeah, I agree.
But then
with
also, Kelly Thompson wrote an incredible Harley Quinn in the first arc of Birds of Prey. Just outstanding, hilarious,
I
really,
can't
really
wait
great.
to get that book.
Oh yes, the first trade's out. What are you waiting for?
Birds of
Isn't
Prey
it?
is? No, I don't
The
think
first
so.
trade? I
No.
think so.
Is it-
I think I
is
wrote
it
about
I
it.
don't think so. It's on my wish list.
Give me a second. Let me see
Hold
if it did come
on.
out.
I
don't
swear
think
that I
so.
wrote about it on. No, you're right.
No, it's not.
I must have just been writing about the most recent issue. It's out in August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Well,
dare you
that is
question-
incredible. I think the first comic is the best script anybody wrote at DC or Marvel in 2023.
Oh,
I think
that's
I've
so
read it
awesome.
several times now. I think the script is perfect.
Yeah, and I am a big fan of Exterminators. That was a blast. I just thought,
I mean, if any X-Men book has Harley Quinn energy,
yeah, exactly. It was fun chaos and just really. I love the girl bonding and the chaos and everything, and the way they fought their way out of that. Still quipping everything. I just dug it. Dan Mora, Frank Cho. Wait, in previous shows, did you make sure Jess has X Babies Classic Art Adams artwork? Uh-oh, shots fired at Peter. I know that. That's not his favorite artist.
I mean, without X Babies, we wouldn't have those Scotty Young covers. So, you know,
Okay, X Babies.
I wouldn't recommend it. Like, it has a lot of mojo, and I'm not about that life.
Oh, I'll do that on MU.
yeah.
Well, I would argue that the adamantium surfboard was not fun. That's when I hit a wall for Reign of X.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, oh dear, this is as bad as everyone said it was going to be. Meeting and falling in love with some kidnapping stranger that also has an adamantium surfboard or whatever the hell she had.
Yeah.
It wasn't the surfboard. Well, okay, it was the surfboard.
It was a bit the surfboard because they have the adamantium for his spare bodies, and then he's just wasting it on a surfboard. How does it even float? I don't want to get all science about a comic book, but this was the one thing that I read, and I was like, what the hell? I sold all my Percy books, all of them. I don't want anything to do with him after this. It was so bad.
And so again, coming back to my theme of sometimes writer I like, wrong book. I loved Benjamin Percy at DC when he was writing Green Arrow. I was like mainlining Green Arrow every month. I was so excited. It was a twice monthly book. So when he got to Marvel, I was like, yes, somebody I love at Marvel. And I liked a lot of the beginning of his X-Force. And then I know some people liked his Wolverine, and I never want to sound like I'm disappointed that somebody liked a book. I'm not trying to tell you you're like bad if you liked his Wolverine. It just never was interesting to me. It was 50 issues of Wolverine being uninteresting. And I just think that for me, I must like Percy better on like a lighter, funnier book. I just don't think I because I hate his Ghost Rider. I think it's one of the worst Ghost Rider runs of all time. And some comic shop was on Twitter being like, no, our customers love it. It's really fun. I'm like, I've never read a worse Ghost Rider, but I just think personally for me, I don't like Percy being like dire blood, guts, killing Percy. It doesn't do anything for me.
I definitely liked all of this, loved all of this until I hit that adamantium surfboard thing. I thought Inferno was great. I enjoyed that. This was a great idea, just not well executed. I thought, wow, what a really cool thing is happening here, sending him back into his old body so he can prevent Abraham Lincoln, Professor X's dad back in the 1800s from getting killed, whatever. And it just sort of mushed at the very middle and end. I just thought it was, I'm still keeping it because it's an OHC and I happen to like them, but and Omega Red inhabiting the body of a white whale attacking the ship. What? Did he have a surfboard made of adamantium? I don't know. This was a puzzler.
I will tell you where an X-Men story did this very idea much better. It's the Days of Future Past movie. that's what he tried to do, and it was
Yeah. So yeah, that's my that was my take. But I was very pleased that Leah Williams responded. That's a big feather in my cap whenever some creator acknowledges my existence. So before we get into your unironic reading of Batman, which is amazing to me, I want to make sure that you're aware of inside.
So what is this book? You keep showing me the top of this book. What is it?
Yeah.
Where did it come from? Who's the publisher? Well, I've never heard of it before.
Okay, right now, Titan Comics has put this out, Inside the Mind of Sherlock Holmes. It's a cutout.
Die cut cover.
Yeah, Inside the Mind. And let me just show you the cool gimmicks. There's not gimmicks, but fun things to keep you interested in. There will be places in here for you to like, where they tell you to, there's a spot here, this spot, and you hold the cover up to see what it is on the other side that he's actually thinking about. And then it has this red line that goes through everything, shows you how he's coming to his conclusions about where these people are disappearing. British gentry, the upper class, are missing, and it appears to be the doing of a circus that is ostensibly from Asia, the Wu Jing circus. He's a magician. And I'm trying to find the page where so it's always got stuff like Seller of Obscure Clues, where he pulls something out of his head or finds something that is a key piece to the plot. And so here's the mind of Holmes as he's smoking a pipe. And what's going on in there, because he's got a warehouse, criminal gang, warehouse 2. He's got the means figured out, how he's playing his violin.
I love books that have real sheet music in them that you can sit down and actually play, but it's part of the story. That's one of my favorite tropes.
And then it goes like this to keep telling the story with this really cool paneling. And by the way, the story begins and ends with him mainlining the 7% cocaine solution that relaxes him, which I was just like, this book goes there.
Very true Sherlock Holmes writing.
Right. And I don't want to say too much of the plot and wreck it, but okay, gently curl the right edge of the page to meet the dots. So it's like almost like a mad fold in where you figure things out, but you don't want to fold the page. But to connect the dots is how. So it's like, whoop, this, and that ends up being connecting the dots of what he's thinking. It is just such a fun, well-written book. It's written by, okay, I'm going to butcher it totally because I think it's French. Cyril Leron and Benoit Tahan.
Benoit Blanc from Knives Out.
I did not hear what you said, but I think I'm probably okay. It is just remarkably fun. It's remarkably well done. I haven't read anything like it this year, certainly. I just totally dug this, and I think you might too, because while it's intellectually stimulating, it's also super fun and well laid out to be very engaging. And you care about Sherlock Holmes in maybe a way that you hadn't before, and you get a feel for Dr. Watson and the people who you get it dives in deep to the opium wars that Britain was involved in, because Britain used to England actually was according to this book, I didn't know that, was was helping import and export opium, and then there were opium wars so that England could have a monopoly on it. And this book is a product of those wars and what happened to the men involved in those, and what they do to try and get even. And Sherlock's on the case. I just freaking love this book.
I do love a Sherlock story, but Jess, I'm surprised you don't know about the opium thing, because you've seen The Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors when they've done an episode on the serial killer.
I thought you were going to say because we know in your 20s you used to do opium.
No. Because I'm going. I'm
You have such a reputation.
I'm appealing to your nerd side.
Okay, thank you.
But I have a 12-hour brain plus, so the serial killer that they never found out who it was.
I don't remember this one for the opium wars on
For England. No, England.
Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper. Thank you. So they did a Treehouse Horror episodes with about Jack the Ripper, and there was a scene that involved an opium place.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that one. Jack the Ripper, Simpsons. I'll
This
watch
is
that.
a classic.
Treehouse of Horror. Okay. Treehouse Simpsons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of a history lesson too. Jack the Ripper. Okay, Simpsons. Yeah, no, I just thought this was incredibly well done. And Tony from Sweden is always on top of me to read more European books. And this was translated very nicely. And the art is, kind of different.
Oh, James got it. Thank you, James.
Oh, he's already highlighted it?
No, he got the Treehouse of Horror.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I have that book. Somebody's talking about this in the chat. I have it.
Oh, yeah, I just got that too. Treehouse of Horror.
Not only do I love Tinian and Martin Simmons, who I love from Punk is Dead, where I first fell in love with him, a must-read book if you are a big music fan and love ghost nonsense. It's got a very Dead Boys Detective kind of vibe.
Wait, where's
But
that
also,
from?
I'm a easy mark for Dracula. I go so hard for Dracula stuff.
You got the odd long neck cover
Yeah.
where her neck
Is
is
that- would they have a
extended like
choice?
crazily. Yeah, there was a
I did not
DM.
know
I was
that.
just like, something about her looks like elongated man practically. So
Yeah. But you know what? It doesn't look that bad like in person. Like when you showed the
Yeah.
cover, I saw what you meant. But like when Peter showed the actual book, it looks okay.
yeah.
I didn't
And he's
know.
there's another one. I think Frankenstein is Frankenstein the next one that's coming out. Wait, let me highlight. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not like an all Universal Monsters person.
Yeah.
Although, you know what I need to show off? Hold on. It might be in a different room. I might have to go off camera for a second. But while we're
Okay.
talking about Dracula, I have something I need to show y'all.
Okay. Well,
Oh, it's right here.
I didn't pick up that Dracula book because I'm so sure that Image is gonna hit us with an omnibus about all those Universal
Might have
monsters.
seen my. Okay, hold on. Let me plug back into the feed. So this is Magnetic Press.
Oh, I just ordered those.
It is. I'm a total nerd for all things Bram Stoker's Dracula. This is one of the most gorgeous things that I own.
I didn't
And
get
I
the
usually, and I saw so many people getting these Magnetic Press. Like,
Magnets.
they're not Kickstarter. It's on BackerKit or one of the other platforms.
Okay.
First of all, like look at the corner. It's got rounded corners.
Yeah.
It's got a
Gilded
red
pages.
gilded pages, and it is the complete. I want to say unabridged, but maybe it doesn't have some of the descriptions of Bram Stoker's Dracula, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It's the whole book, scene for scene, page for page, and some of the artwork is just absolutely breathtaking. And then also by the same artist and an adapter in this box set is Frankenstein. And of this, I have copy 522 of 1,000. But if you want these books and you miss this, they're currently doing a new one that has both of these books and The Hunchback of Notre Dame, also in the same adapted format. And it's
I think I
t-shirt
ordered
live
just-
right now.
I think I just ordered the dumb regular standard hardcovers, but I just wanted to get the books. Yeah, those books are supposed to be gorgeous.
I mean, again, Dracula for me is like beyond X-Men level. I love Dracula stuff. Yeah, this is one of the most beautiful objects in my collection. Of course, it's like all white, so I'm afraid to even touch it sometimes. 'cause it's
Wash your
always got,
hands
I'm
before
gonna
you
get
do.
lip
Yeah.
gloss on it or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I really love like a graphic novel adaptation of a novel, especially when it's really well done. Like one of my favorites so far is To Kill a Mockingbird.
Ooh, there's a good graphic novel of To Kill a Mockingbird.
It's so good. Like the art is gorgeous, but it gets it really well. Yeah. And then I also have 1984, which wasn't as good.
Oh, my friends. Well, we should have plenty of things to talk about as we make this a recurring monthly segment. We didn't even get to the Batman today.
Right.
Mm.
Oh, right. Okay. You're right, Omnibo.
There it is.
Okay,
Yeah,
there's
really. And again, you know, people accuse me of like hyping things. I'm not saying everybody run out and get it. I'm saying, do you love Dracula? Do you love adapted classic horror novels? If you do, this is a very high quality thing. I'm not, you know, not every book needs to be for every person. But this one, if you like that stuff, is really cool.
And put it in perspective. Peter wasted so much in shipping on that. Why wouldn't you get it?
Oh my god. And it came with a friggin' dent on the flip.
Oh,
I got this
Yeah.
huge. Where is it? I got this huge D&D book this week, and when I tell you the box, look how big it's like an omnibus sized. And D&D books are heavy because they use really heavy paper. This is heavier than an omnibus. When I tell you, it looked like the box was run over by elephants. I mean, it was crushed. I was like, oh, this book is going to be in bad shape. No, because it was a box and then another box inside the box. And then this was inside its own box inside of that. And it was wrapped in bubble. Look at this. The corner is so sharp. I could be Jack the Ripper and kill somebody. It came in perfect condition. So that made me say, it's possible. How is it that the D&D people care more about how their book gets to me than the comic book people do? How does that my Dracula have a big dent on it, but my D&D book made it here to the bottom of the world?
Amazing.
Just fine.
Magnetic
And all
presses.
you Omnidog, what do we call them? Omni puppies? What is their name?
Omni dogs and Omni kittens.
Omni kittens. Omni kittens. I have one wish. Now that Jess's books or X-Men books are organized, I want to see Jess play Dungeons and Dragons. This is my wish. And I do DM a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. I don't know if I have the wherewithal to DM live on YouTube. That sounds really scary to me. But I need to see Jess play Dungeons and Dragons. So if any of you out there think that would be entertaining, please start commenting now. Maybe we could get Jess to play Dungeons and Dragons in 2025. I think it would be adorable.
And so how do you do it? It's like you do it through a Zoom call with local people or your group?
I play Dungeons and Dragons with my original Dungeons and Dragons party from college from the year 2001, and we all play on Zoom because they're all across the United States now. And we've missed like 2 sessions. We started the week before the world went on lockdown in 2020, and we've missed 2 sessions since then, and we've played constantly.
Nice.
DD Omnidog.
D and Dog. D and Dog.
Dungeons
and Omnidogs.
Yeah.
Omnidogs and Dragons.
I'm open to the suggestion. I don't know a single thing about it. Nothing.
So I think you have to, if it's just my own fantasy, that's fine. I can live with that. But if there's other people who agree with me that it would be amazing, then maybe we'll try to find a way to do it.
I mean, I know
I'm here to help you with your fantasies. That is something I am made to do. So I consider it done.
I know Maddie would love to be a part of a YouTube D&D.
Oh, is
group.
Maddie a D&D person?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so now we already starting to build the party.
Okay, there's a lot of people that are into it. So yeah, I Oldfell and Lars, are they D&D people? They strike me as
Oh, I think Oddfell, yeah.
Oddfall. Yeah, she does. She has a regular campaign. It's on her TikTok. She pulled the funniest gag I've ever
yeah.
seen. I don't even want to ruin it, but she did a one-shot campaign where the concept was pop songs. Like your character had to like reference some kind of pop song, even though it was in Dungeons and Dragons. Her gag and joke was so hilarious. I wish I could easily find the link and send it to you, but it's probably buried somewhere. Yes, but Oldfell does play Dungeons and Dragons.
It might be
Okay.
a short on her YouTube because I know I've seen it.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about, right? I
Yeah.
can't spoil the joke because it's so good.
oh, Freddie, you'll have to send it to me so I can.
Yeah, I'll
Watch
look for it.
Okay.
Okay. I got a haul, by the way, just now. I got Mofongo.
Oh,
chicken.
Mofongo. Okay, wait. Let me highlight you.
Bam. There we go.
Okay, tell us what's in Mofongo. I see
Mofongo.
yams. The yams in there.
No, this is chicken.
The orange stuff is chicken.
The orange stuff is chicken, yes. This is a mofongo with chicken criollo. So yeah, I'm gonna take a bite.
Well, I've heard nothing but great things about Mofongo.
Mofongo is
Oh,
my
I found
favorite food ever.
That's amazing.
I didn't know we were allowed to eat if we're on. I didn't know that's not on my rider that I negotiated to be in.
Well, I haven't eaten in 12 hours, so
Yeah, well,
I don't know what time of day it is there, Peter, but if you're due for a meal, just go for it. Yeah. I can go get some cheese sticks and a nutrition drink and join you.
so yeah, I think it would be very fun to see Jess very earnestly playing Dungeons and Dragons.
All right.
And I did find that Oldfell thing and I put it in the chat. So even if you're watching this later, go in the live chat and find the link.
You put it in the wait, where'd you put it?
In the chat.
no, it's not.
Oh, I'm not. Is it this one?
Yes, that's the one.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I linked it on Instagram, but it's the same video.
Jack Ferry, thank you. Evening Omnipups. What is your favorite and least favorite DC crisis? That's an easy one for me. I'll let you guys go first.
I don't think I've read a crisis.
Well, that's a quick answer.
My least favorite is definitely Identity Crisis. I don't think they should reprint it. I think it should be sent to the bottom of the ocean.
I think so too. I hate that book.
They just did a 20th anniversary reprinting. I'm like, could we just pulp that whole run? Why are we printing this book? Favorite? I'm a 0 hour apologist. I like it. I think if you're gonna do time nonsense, go all the way. But I also like Infinite Crisis. So I don't know how I would choose between 0 hour purely for like fandom nostalgia. Infinite Crisis, probably the best one.
I agree with that too. I was going to say Infinite Crisis, and Identity's my least. Oh, was this a real crisis? That was editorial.
It was reading it.
That was editorial in Crisis. Tom King in Crisis. So they smushed his idea and made him write this other thing, and he's taken the blame for editorial's dumb decisions. But yeah, Heroes in Crisis. It was a crisis.
Yeah.
Holy guacamole.
Going back, Peter, did you
Great
like...
art, Clay Mann. I think he got bullied out of comics after that. I don't think he does comics anymore. He drew that James Asma's Gambit series that we were telling you need to go back and read.
I think I've seen Clayman covers recently, though.
He draws some sexy gentlemen.
He does.
I'm gonna. That Gambit, that really gripes my cookies, man. Okay, let's see.
Somebody's just been. We think we're all caught up. Infinite Crisis. Infinite is my favorite. Identity is least. That's right. I will say I also enjoyed 52 right after Infinite Crisis. I thought it was an interesting concept, and I really liked it. I haven't read 1 million since it came out, so it's due for another read. But I liked 52 with the idea that the big three weren't there.
Yeah.
So
I think that was just generally a good period of DC, like a really fruitful, fun. Just pretty much all the DC series are really fun in that period right before and right after Infinite Crisis. You know, sometimes there's a really good cadence at a publisher where it's like you can't go wrong if you read a book from those couple of years. And I really feel like 2005, 2006 is that zone for DC. 2007. Yeah.
Yep, Doc. Oh, Doc, you're here to sing the praises of Final Crisis. I thought you were an Identity Crisis guy. There are a lot of Identity Crisis lovers in my viewership. Oh, Final Crisis. Okay. Good night to you, Karima. Have fun and thank you for joining. Oh, yeah. Secret Six. That's a great book to get. That's Gail Simone's
Omnibus out today. Woo!
That is super great.
Yeah, I got the 52 Omnibus. It's good, Richard. I think you'll like it.
Yeah, it's worth reading for sure.
Yeah, and I didn't read, obviously, the event right before, and I didn't have a problem.
Flashpoint counts as a crisis. Convergence, we do not acknowledge.
I don't think Convergence is a crisis. I don't think
It
it
was-
counts. It didn't
it was a
change. It
crisis
didn't
of
change enough stuff. A crisis always changes something.
Yeah. The Convergence is best left unacknowledged.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Convergence did give us John Kent ultimately, so that is the one positive tip.
Yeah,
Jack Ferry still waiting for the Channing Tatum's Gambit movie. That's right. Oh,
is he
Rodimus.
gonna pop up in Deadpool Wolverine? I do not know. I have not seen spoilers. So
Gambit?
they're gonna... Sometimes, you know, like to have a character that was never actually in a movie, as it's like how they use John Krasinski as Reed in the Scarlet Witch movie, or what is it? Who's the actual star of that? Movie?
That's
Doctor
it.
Strange.
Scarlet Witch
But that's
movie.
it's like a fandom in joke that he's
Yeah.
Reed Richards, and I feel like if they have
Yeah.
Channing Tatum as Gambit and Deadpool and Wolverine, it'll be that level of in joke.
Let's see. Do the James Bond Dynamite? No, you can read them in any order, and all of them are great.
They
Just
are.
Kindly stick your hand in there, pull one out, and you'll just go, "This is awesome! Omnidog was right."
And I think IST, like, not to talk about a different website to get books, but IST does have some of the signed, I'm not sure if pack books.
Oh yeah, some of them are signed. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't think they're more expensive because I think I just ordered one and ordered one or two, and I got signed books.
Yeah, I don't think not much more.
Seven Soldiers Omnibus is great. It is extremely well written. That is one of the more accessible Grant Morrison books. I love that book. I've read it 3 times. I've forgotten it all again, so I'm due for a 4th read, but I love Seven Soldiers. I really do. Oh, here's Hondo. D&D with Jess, Omnidog Brad. Yes, Brad, yes, please. By the way, Maniac Matt is a good DM, and I love D&D. Okay. I will definitely do whatever the fans want. Oh, yeah. Crisis on Earth 2 that's the original Crises books. Those are fun. I have those. I had them all graded so they wouldn't get anything to happen to them, because it's hard to find those covers because they're like solid purple and stuff. It's hard to find them in good condition. But those early Crises with the Earth 2 Robin and the Dr. Fate and all the original
Mr. Terrific and Our Man and stuff. Those were excitingly fun. I love those books. This is a question for you two. Is there a reason not many people talk about the Cable run sandwiched between Messiah War? What book is that?
I think it's
It's-
collected in your customs. But yeah, I think it's just because, like you said, it's just sandwiched in there. People talk about Messiah War, like thinking about it as part of the run.
I also think it's one of those narrative, I won't say dead ends, but it's like if you're not specifically reading for Hope, and Hope isn't always in a lot of comic books, then it's people tend to shut off those runs because they're like, well, it's not significant because there's just so much X-Men. But it's a fun run. It's Cable as a father. It's Cable doing time stream stuff. I think also people are a little bit negative on it because it has Bishop as such a villain. And people really love Bishop, and a lot of fans just never really saw it in a positive light because of that. But I think it's really good. I think the first half is stronger when Hope is like a littler kid. I think the second half, if I'm remembering correctly, is a little after Messiah War is a little on the weaker side for me.
Is that this book?
Well, there's Cable that comes before that, and Cable comes after that. That's pretty much smack in the middle of that 2008 Cable run, written entirely by Dwayne Swirzewski. I want to say there's one or two trades that recollect all
does
of
this
it.
come after Messiah Complex and before Second Coming?
Yes, that's true. It has nothing to do with either of them. Don't let anybody tell you any differently.
But is that where this belongs?
Yeah, that's
those
where that.
two? Okay,
Yes.
I do know where this goes.
Yeah, but it's a good read, and if you read it, you'll definitely question how is Bishop ever redeemed after that, because he goes nuts.
Yeah. And there's a lot of hand waving to do the redemption in Uncanny X-Force Volume 2 during Marvel Now, where you're like, okay, I guess so.
Yeah, like having not read it like when I was reading Marvel Now and then going back, I was like, who opened the door for this guy?
Is the Warren Ellis 007 hardcover out of print?
Maybe.
It's an omnibus, and it's also two standard hardcovers. Let's see. James Bond,
Yeah.
Ellis. You can still get volume 2. Why is there volume 2 is still in print? Yeah, I'm not seeing this is just one site I'm looking on. Maybe it's on Amazon. It's definitely worth reading. All these James Bond books are.
Yeah, the Diggle stuff is also really good.
And Richard is asking your favorite Cable story.
It's
I would probably say Krakoa Cable by Dugan, which is wild and crazy because I didn't even like Teen Cable at first, but it's a complete story. It's something significant about who Cable is at his core, whether he's young or old. I think there's a lot of fun Cable stories, and again, because they're not critically important X-Men stories, I think a lot of people overlook them. I think that run with Hope from 2008 is really good. I think there's a lot of really fun stuff in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s of his original 1993 series. I think a lot of people like Cable and Deadpool for very good reasons because it's a fun book. But for me, that Dugan series is iconic Cable. Plus, I love Phil Noto, so that's easy.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said about the Young Cable book. It's really fun. I really enjoyed it. And Phil Noto, what else did he do the Marauders arc?
I mean, he's been all over Krakoa. He has to be the artist who's drawn the most issues of Krakoa, other than maybe Joshua Zara.
It's right.
I think he did a single Marauders issue.
Okay, I'm looking at the Stepford Cuckoos.
Well,
That's
and I think he
definitely
did X-Men King in Black, which is effectively a Marauders book.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think
this is
that's
definitely
Noto.
Phil Noto. That's definitely Marauders. Yeah. Okay, but he
I
didn't
don't
do
think
it.
anybody else should ever draw Jean Grey. I think since Phil Jimenez, who I think was previously was my favorite Jean Grey, I think Phil Noto should exclusively draw Jean Grey.
I mean, Daughterman as well.
I think Daughterman, Emma, Noto, Jean. That's my. If I could get a jam piece of them each drawing each one of those, that would be perfect.
Oh, I like to see this. Ordering right now the most recent Bond book and Kill Chain, which is great, and Kelly Thompson Black Widow, which is super good.
I just reread it and I was like, surely it's not. It's like not going to hit as hard. No, it's that good. It is
really
that good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm looking up what is the worst Cable book because I don't remember
Really
the name.
sad.
Oh, it's.
I think it's one of the
here
ones
we
you
go.
told Jesse should have FOMO about personally, but let's see what the internet says.
No. For me, it's Deadpool and Cable split second. Here, I'll show.
Oh
you.
no, I think Cable Volume 2 that you told Jesse should have FOMO about is worse than Cable Split Second.
Really?
Yes, it's so bad.
I mean, the first volume I remember is just it's a basic as hell story, but I liked after that.
Well,
Oh, it
Jess
looks
will have
like
a tiebreak.
Omnibus is out of print.
Okay.
Oh wait, it's only $20 used on Amazon. It's from Half Price Books Emerald in very good condition. That means it's brand new. So if you go to Amazon for $20, you can get that James Bond Warren Ellis collection. Very good from Half Price Books means brand new.
Must be nice to be able to buy these things whenever you want. Must be pleasant.
It'd be nice to buy something from a half price book and not get it damaged.
Well, the secret to that is you need to call the store when you order it and pay $3 extra for it to be sent in a box.
Oh. Yeah, try getting
Or
it undamaged in New Zealand.
$300 to send it to New Zealand.
Yeah. Hobbs, definitely Nate does not count. No. In fact,
Yeah, Jess, here's FOMO. You need to go out and buy 77 issues of X-Man. Because actually maybe 8 issues. There's a 0, there's a -1, and there's like a one shot that's not really an annual. That's where we're gonna get deep into FOMO, telling Jess to chase down the few X-Men comic books that have never actually been collected. Do you do singles, Jess? I don't. I'm allergic to singles.
Well,
they're gonna get.
Here's a promo for this coming Batter Days with Freddie. The title of it is "We Don't Collect Singles, but," and then we're going to show all the singles that we collect.
Oh,
and
they're giving you promo.
And there will be some Birds of Prey in there.
There will be. I have. I almost have the whole run accidentally because I like the covers. I buy them for the covers to display on like my spinner rack. Right now, it's all Harley, but I like to collect Adam Hughes covers. I like to collect Harley Quinn covers, and I have any covers that just I think are really striking. I will collect, and Burr Management doesn't really know I have this affliction that I collect single issues too. She thinks all those boxes in the storeroom are getting sold, and I'm like, well, there may be 5 or 10 or 20 that aren't. But yeah, we're going to show off our singles, Freddie and I, this coming Saturday night.
Yes.
So am I under the misimpression that I thought Batteries in the Batcave was always about Batman, which is why I've never come on.
The first show was. The first show was about Batman.
Yeah, there have been like a total of 5 shows.
I started it with the Minister of Comics, Taylor, and it ended up being more of a grab bag of topics. But Taylor had a second child and a new job, and so he had to drop out. And now I've just had a rotating
cast of co-hosts, and Omnibo, I think, was my last guest, and we talked about the Aussieverse and things that happened in Australia, and his partner killing a big spider on him with a bat, and it was amazing.
Sounds very Australian.
Omnibus was so great. And so it's just now a rotating cast of characters, and we just talk about what we want to talk about.
Oh, here I thought you had to actually like Batman to go on that show.
No.
Here I am catching up on every Batman comic so I can be eligible. Only to find out that also was another mind game from the
It is a
Omnidog.
mind game.
Another brag gaslighting of Peter.
Yeah, more
Yeah.
classic gaslighting from Jeff.
In fact, I thought every Batter Day with rotating cast was going to have a different topic, but turns out that no topic is a very valid topic.
We go where the guest and the chat wants us to. So it's kind of like this part of this show where we're just having a fun conversation and talking about comics.
Yeah, and speaking of the brag mind games, I might show the receipts. I have evidence of just pushing my Batter Day show since March.
Yes, that is true. I cop to that. Yeah, I've moved Freddie around a lot, and he's been very, very accommodating with his schedule. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it'd be hilarious if you moved me again for Peter.
Oh, here's somebody that was on Batter Days, Astonishing Melanie.
Melanie.
She says, crushing, I'm so glad you liked Zdarsky's Batman.
I love it. I mean, I don't want to steal our thunder from a future show, but everybody on Twitter, first I started reading it because when there's like a big run that I haven't caught up on, I don't want to just binge it and like lose the delight. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, remember what it was like to have trade paperbacks before I read everything digital? Let's just read like one trade at a time on DC Universe Infinite. So I read the first story and I like loved it. I will say I'm a very easy mark for Jimenez's artwork. So I was like, okay, but maybe it's just that. Then people are like, no, you're going to hate the next thing. It's multiverse. You hate everything multiverse. Nope, love that. Then people are like, you're going to hate the Gotham war. It's so stupid. Nope, I love that. Then they're like, well, you're going to hate the Joker nonsense. I'm like, the joke is on you, friend. I fucking snort Joker nonsense right up my nose. So then I love that. So now I'm like up to 2 months ago. I'm like, where's it? When's it going to get bad, Twitter assholes? When's that going to happen? 'Cause I just want to rub it all over my body and ingest it and rub it and go like this and just get it in my mouth. That's how much I love it. Spoilers for what we're going to talk about next time.
Rodimus has a good idea. Well, I'll get Peter on a Batter Days where it won't be free for all. It sounds like Batter Days should be about Batman when Peter comes on.
Make Batter Days Batman again. Mabab. That's my slogan. I'm going to get a red hat that says it.
12 different co-hosts. Thank you for this statistic. 12 different co-hosts have been on Batter Days.
Well, 5 times it would have been me.
Wow.
Oh, I have news
Freddie's
for you
just
about
Tuesday
this
night
coming
guy.
Saturday,
He's not
Freddie.
eligible for Batter Days.
This is the 3rd time I'm going to find out live.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, some guy with 10 subs asked to be on Saturday.
That's fair.
Jack Ferrier, I do love the 3 Omnis by Connor and Palmiotti. I would recommend them. Unfortunately, 2 is out of print, but not getting crazy prices. But volume 3 is way out of print. So I think you can get Harley. What I would do if I were you anyway is get the Harley Quinn Omnibus Volume 1 and see if you like it, or sample it maybe on DC Unlimited or Hoopla. If you have that, you don't want to grab all 3 of them and then it turns out to not be your jam. But the first one's readily available. It's crazy and kooky. It's the run that made me fall in love with Harley Quinn. So start with the first one, and then if you dig it, I am pretty sure DC's been doing a decent job of reprinting things recently. They call her the 4th tent pole in their, the DC universe. So I would think that those would get reprinted soon.
Yeah,
ish.
I'm trying to see if the deluxes are still readily available.
Well, I mean, that's all my Batman opinion. I mean, I guess I could talk about Ram V too, but you know, I just kind of just ruined the surprise.
Yeah, I think
But we
you
could
can
talk
get-
about it more substantively.
Okay, the third deluxe is a little bit pricey, but it's still cheaper
For
than getting
for
yeah.
Rebirth?
for Rebirth. Then, but it's still cheaper than getting the third omnibus.
Are the first deluxes available?
Yeah, the first two.
First two?
Yeah, so you can get the first omnibus at a good price, the second one probably at cover, and then get the three deluxes.
That's a good way to go, Jack.
Yeah,
Jack.
because the third omnibus is the three deluxes, but with more covers by Amanda Connor, and the deluxes have a few more issues that aren't by Palmiotti and Connor.
Mm.
So if what you're interested is in the story and not all her covers, then yeah, go that route.
I believe I have a guide that explains all that, but it might be patron only. Now that I'm
Ooh. Well, Peter does need some dosh.
My thing is the DC guides are so much harder for me to do because I don't like know that back to front than the Marvel guides. That I'm like a little shy at first. I'm like, ooh, maybe they're like not perfect. Like I need more time to like sit with them. And then B, I'm like, y'all better pay me if you want to read the DC guides. And so, because I'm out here learning about DC characters I don't care about. I mean, I do like Harley, but in sometimes the DC character I truly don't care about, Hal Jordan. So you can pay me if you want to read that guide.
Yeah, no, and I think Marvel, even though we complain that it changes a lot of format, DC is all over the place with how they do it.
Yeah, it's really hard to put a bookshelf consistently together across multiple series for DC.
James is reminding us this was a surprise. Shade the
On the
Chain.
top 20 on the DC poll, Big
Yeah.
Ox, Tiger Eyes.
Yeah, this is great news. Really great news. I'm excited for that one.
I might buy it. I might decide to be a Vertigo Omnibus girl. I might just get every Vertigo Omnibus.
This was so odd. It was awesome, and it was odd in a great way that you could follow. I love Peter Milligan. I love his writing, and so I loved how weird Shade the Changing Man was. I loved his take on it. Oh, here's an X-Men 97 question. I can even participate in this since I saw the whole thing. X-Men 97 was great. It looks like they could be pulling from runs like Rise of the Apocalypse, Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix, and Blood of Apocalypse, among others. What do you hope for season 2? Answer right now with a mouthful of food, Freddie.
It's not full. They're not gonna do it. But what I would hope for is make it canon the Wolverine and Morph relationship. Just come out with it. Be explicit about it.
Morph has the best lines in that show. Boy, he's funny. Or Morph is funny.
There's no straight by there offering to go to the shower with Logan.
Yeah, that was when I saw that I'm like, I don't remember the show being quite this sex positive from when I was like watching it in the 90s. But they really went there with that shower scene. Yeah, Morph. Non-binary icon.
And going back to the very first episode of the original series when Wolverine's just all broken up about Morph. Morph! You're like, oh, there might be something there.
What do you hope for in season 2, Peter?
I mean, I think that comment nailed it. I think that's a lot of what we're going to see. And the question becomes how they're going to like weave between them. I actually think they're going to pull a little bit from the all new, all different Marvel Apocalypse Wars, at least in spirit, because they're kind of playing with 3 different timelines of people dealing with Apocalypse stuff concurrently, which is what Apocalypse Wars was. And that is when the all new X-Men at that time went back to Apocalypse's youth in Egypt, which we've never really seen an X-Men plot do other than that one, if I'm not mistaken. We've been there in Rise of Apocalypse, but we've never seen like present day X-Men go back except for in that story. And it looks like they're going to do that. So I'm really interested to see what kind of post 2001 stories they're going to pull. Clearly they're going to do Blood of Apocalypse. I mean, it just seems such a setup. I really want to see how close we can get to Utopia. And I feel like maybe we're going to get a House of M kind of event without them like fully doing House of M, but like it feels like could we go through some kind of a No More Mutants concept as a result of what Apocalypse is going to do? Because they're going to like mix and match and put things together that don't really go together. So I'm like, ooh, could we like have Apocalypse do something that makes it so there's no more mutants, that leads us into kind of like House of M, Age of Apocalypse-y kind of story, and then come out the other side with really reduced mutants to like get us to Messiah Complex and Utopia.
Okay.
And I just want more Emma Frost.
Oh
Saucy.
yeah.
Saucy.
Definitely. Put her on the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
I cheered out loud when they're like, somebody's alive in the rubble. I'm like,
yes. What's up, Beck? Shade Lover there. That's great. That's a day one purchase. American Scream was one of the best debut stories ever. Did you see Omnibus wiki page? There's such a thing as that? List Swamp Thing by Mark Miller, Phil Hester, Omnibus for 14th January release. Anyone else
pulled it off the Omnibus poll at the last second because we had it in there and the solicit came out like just as we were putting the poll up and we yanked it so nobody would vote on it.
Oh, so yeah, you're right, Super Laugh Hard. It is coming out because they pulled it from the poll, so it has to be real. And I would definitely upgrade for that. I just have it in trade, so yeah, I would definitely upgrade for that. Content Swamp Thing 140 through 171. Okie dokie. Yes.
It's that exciting time of year when we're starting to get our solicits for omnibuses at the beginning of the next year. It's why we do the polls when we do. If we did the polls a couple weeks later, none of this would have worked because there would be solicits coming out that people voted for. There's this perfect sweet spot before you start getting the next year's solicits. And that's when Tiger Eye, it was actually, I mean, it's not me. It's when Tiger Eyes always did the poll. And then sure enough, like the week after, all the next year books start to get solicited. So that is part of his evil genius that has been around for 12 years now.
Evil genius. Charlie Feldman, director of episode 3, stated that the shower scene was an Easter egg for Nightmare on Elm Street, which I never saw, so I don't know.
I do love me some Freddy Krueger. I love some 80s cheesy horror, not like scary horror, but like goofy horror. That was because I was a kid. So.
Yeah. I would like to see Avengers versus X-Men for season 3. Season 3, okay.
Yeah, that is one book that I own that I feel like I look at it and I go like, why do I own that? I did not like that story. And then I remember, oh yeah, I was being a total dork going all Black Panther completionist. And I was thinking, when did the divorce take place? Because I don't own it. And then I was like, oh, it takes place in this omnibus. I'll pre-order it. And then I'm like, why? Just looking at this huge book, why?
What's wild is it's like feels like it's time for a reread and a reevaluation. But some of that's, I read every Marvel Now book, every single thing. Actually, even a couple years before Marvel Now, going to Marvel Now, and we're coming up on 15 years on some of that for Avengers versus X-Men. It's been 12. It kind of feels like a time to reread some of that stuff. But then I'm like, oh, what am I going to not read that's new or that's old? I mean, I want to read Shade the Changing Man, right? But like, what am I going to put off reading that to reread AVX? So, I don't know.
No, I'm a big fan of horror, but not a fan of slasher films. And Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, those ones never appealed to me. I'm more a horror fan of like demonic, occult, unseen things that scare the hell out of me.
What about Scream?
Haven't seen Scream.
What?
You've never seen any of the Screams?
No.
This is a generational divide.
You need to watch Scream.
This is not like an old joke. I'm just saying, if you were like a teenager at a certain time, like that was one of those movies that you went to the movie theater like with all of your friends because it was scary, you know, like it just was one of those moments.
That's where they played on the tropes of the slasher movies, and it ended up turning into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I could watch that and enjoy that. I bet.
And it's funny, and it's got usually really good leading ladies: Nev Campbell, Courtney Cox. Yeah.
Yeah, and it does the trick in the first one, like making you think who's the lead. Drew Barrymore.
Oh yeah, that's pretty fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they
I
play
like talking about horror. I love Wes Craven's A New Nightmare, where it's about the actors.
I saw
in the
that one. I saw.
I love crap like that.
I do too. That was a fun movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
All right, folks. Well, I think it is about to be way past various bedtimes and lunchtimes, depending on what time zone you're in.
Right. Thank you to my guests. Please remember Organic Prize Books, code Omnidog, 5% off, Omnidog Sit. And thank you for watching, everybody. This has been a blast. Thank you to Crisis and Freddie for joining. I think this has been a lot of fun, and we're going to have a lot of fun in the future. Crisis, where can they find you? Your description, I'm sorry, in the description, there's a link to your site, but where can they find you?
I am at crushingcrisis.com, crushing with a C, crisis with a K. Every week I talk about all the new releases from Marvel and DC, and I actually don't just say this book's coming out or this is where it's collected. I explain like what's going on in the series. Would you like the writing? Is it true to the character? For every book from Marvel and DC. And then I have guides on how all the stuff has been collected. So all the answers to all the questions that we've been talking about on the stream are all on my site. And then I am a frequent guest on Near Mint Condition. I will be there for a Map My Ex Wolverine sometime soon. I think we're going to have a What Should Every Library Have in its Graphic Novel section evergreen show. So we've got some really fun shows coming up on Near Mint Condition, or as we say here, very fine condition.
Please, yes, thank you, Richard. Hit the like button before you check out here. And Freddie, your IG is in the description. Is that where people can find you?
Yeah, that's where they can find me. They can write me. They can tell me I know all about your lies. It's fine.
My lies or your lies?
My lies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't drag me into your lies. Okay, good. And this coming Batterdays is going to be Peter M Patreon also, Freddie's IG. This coming Batterdays, Freddie and I are going to be saying what hypocrites we are. We don't collect singles, but here are our singles collections, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So please tune in for that. And thank you, everybody. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for a million thanks to both my guests for showing up, taking time out of their busy days to do this. Thank you.
My day's finished, Jess.
What's that?
My day finished.
Let me get sympathy from the audience. Yeah.
Sorry.
And this is totally not true. I am not lied to Curtis. Darn you, Crisis, for suggesting that. So this has been great, and we will continue to have fun in the future. And I will use my theme song to play us out. Peace and love. Peace and love. Thank you all.